amigos on the bait will be falling shit. Amigos on the bait will be Talking pennies on me. 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 Talking pennies on me.
Hello, Internet. The Cabal has been summoned up. They're heaviest hitters, and, you know, unfortunately, they didn't have a lot of people hanging around. You see Xylee's stuck in the content mines. Chris the Narc has a job. And Beckett, well, Beckett's the man in the chair right now, okay? And I feel personal to this, you know, in my small, like, little attached family underneath the Cabal. You know, I protect my husband from all that can harm him, all right? A top has to protect their bottom. A top has to protect their bottom, chat. What's happening? What's happening? Rip Beckett, so true. So true. Becky's getting hit hard, exactly. There's only one man who can hit that, Ginger, and it's me. Oh, shit. Andy Worski was saying he watches Chris the Narc during Keto Casino Keto Weed a few nights ago. Not surprised, not surprised. If there was anybody that Andy Worski was going to watch, it was going to be him. The one who... it was just going to be Chris. Everybody else is too bisexual or too not dedicated to the grind, dude. But yeah, man, there's like a huge overlap in those places, okay? So if you're like surprised. Yeah, man, I've been hearing about this KP stuff, you know? I've been working the 9 to 5 the grind. And I've been reading about this stuff, about this little Miss KP. Okay? Now, I didn't know about the call because I haven't had a chance to watch Beckett's streams. So, Fauji's going to take that. And he is definitely going to be struck for that. Just, I know he knows, but it is coming, right? So, yeah. One day, Chris will join the polycule. Chris is a part of it, but he's like... What's like somebody who's pretending to be straight, but like something like it's not a beard. It can't be an egg either. I don't one of those. You know, one of those. She's probably watching. Say hi, everyone. You know, the thing is I didn't get struck. You can still technically watch some of the Beckett VODs through like my stream, you know? Which is funny that nothing ever happened to me. Not that I'm complaining, you know. I still gotta make my bread, and I have to manage this in between, like being all members of commentary are presented to be straight except Tom. Have you seen Tom? Are you saying that man he's out? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying he was definitely straight. I'm saying, listen, man. If commentary was a frat house, it would also be a theater troupe, okay? Because just about everybody's in there is as straight as a circle, me included. God. Anyway, I've decided I'd put my degree to use tonight. And we'd talk a little bit about KP's media literacy. As well as just touching on some extra KP lore that I haven't necessarily covered on my streams. But might have been covered on the other streams if you're one of the folks who watches either Beckett, Fauji, Chris, or myself. To give you some TLDWs, KP in recent days and why Beckett is the man in the seat is because KP has gone on a copyright striking spree, which, by the way, a copyright claim and a copyright strike are two different things. Okay, so when she copyright strikes someone, she's saying, I'm willing to take you to court over the fair use of this video, right? A copyright claim is saying, that's my video, I want to get revenue back on it. right? It's not as serious. When you strike someone, they get like a tag on their account, right? And eventually you get put in like fucking limbo, right? Until the claims are resolved. The important part here is that when you're technically making a copyright strike, that's kind of like a legal claim.
For bread. Toast is better.
That's, you know, one day I'll have the electricity bill to get toast. As long as Sam Altman doesn't build a server in my town, you know. Thank you, Pinker. I appreciate it.
Money for Roshi Tilda.
This is the closest alcohol I'll drink on stream. I drink to you. There you go. Delicioso, delicioso. Anyway. Yeah, so copyright strike is a lot more serious. When you make a copyright strike, you're saying you're willing to go 10 toes down on a lawsuit regarding everything, right? But to follow up on that, KP did the most ridiculous shit. So I understand, like, she reached out to a guy called Lyle Convoy, who is also like an ACC glub shitto, right? And I held off on posting this until the first strike hit. This is an add-on to the last message she sent to Lio, saying she plans to strike people, covering information coming out about her. So, you can't use the copyright strike system to, like, just silence people. That's not what it's for, actually. You're not like Disney, bitch. I know you watch Kim Possible, but you're not Walt James Disney. I don't know what it, did he have a middle name? I feel like it would be something weird, like Jebediah or something, you know. But yeah, you don't use the copyright system for stuff like that. It's actually how people lose channels, right? She is like literally playing with, like, you know, like what's that like metal orb that the guys closed it and they all died of acute radiation poisoning? The like the orb that kills you instantly. I'm describing like a completely separate thing right now. I'm thinking of like an orb, and when you hold it, it gives you cancer. You know, the cancer orb. Come on, we all know about the cancer orb. Yeah, fun fact, malicious use of the copyright system is actually a crime. Yeah, so technically you're filling out like legal demon core. Thank you. Like, you're technically filling out a legal document when you, like, abuse the copyright system like that. I do believe that's perjury. I'm not a lawyer, though, so, you know. There we go. I do believe it's perjury, but I don't want to say that it definitely is perjury. Wasn't that part of nuclear bombs? I watched a Wendigoon video about it, okay? I'm somewhat of an expert myself. To get along with this, though, and read what KP sent Lio. Which, by the way, also hella weird to end a Discord message with your name. Wait a second, is that a hyphen? Enhance. Was that ChatGPT that wrote that? I've deliberately avoided using hyphens in my writing because of ChatGPT, dude. And it's actually bad because you should use hyphens sometimes. Anyway. P.S. I would like to warn your... Hold on, let me read this in a correct accent. Lio Convoy, I would like to warn you and your little friends that I have sent, as in already pending, DMCA takedowns for anything, both videos and streams, using private or leaked information. Commentary is within their right, but anything more is a violation of my privacy, boundaries, and threatens my safety. I think we both know that going to the police when someone is sexually harassing you on the internet is a moot point. You have my consent to warn others. I have several questions about this. I don't believe the affected parties in this conversation have been sexually harassing you. I said last night in the Discord VC, audibly and very loudly, I'll show that woman what sexual harassment really is. Which I don't really know right now on the stream whether or not I'm going to double down into sexual promiscuity this stream, or whether or not I'm just going to, you know, allow my chat to sexually harass me. You know, you get out what you get back what you put out into the world, you know. And I want to be someone's object of desire. Something KP thinks she is. YouTube's response, by the way. Do you think, okay, Falgi, you have an hour until your stream. Do you think she's gonna preemptively strike you? Because she could, don't get any ideas, KP. She could technically like preemptively strike you down. And also, wasn't it cool how you got the message from Keemstar to do a stream about the leaked call, Falgi? Yeah, so seriously, you tell me that you don't see an abuse with the copyright with KP. Okay. Hi there. Thanks for reaching out for us. Hope you're doing well. I understand that you're reaching out about a fake scheduled copyright takedown notice you have received from a claimant, which you mentioned, blah, blah, blah. However, if you have additional requests in the meantime, there's no, please know that it's escalated to our copyright team for further. There's no need to reply right now. She fucking better. Thanks, Keep. We really shouldn't do this joke. Kristen Ark says don't do this. I hope this email finds you well. First, thank you for your patience while I reach out to our copyright teams about this. I've already heard back from them, and let me share with you the details. As per our team, they have reviewed the scheduled takedown for your video and found no evidence of abuse. In this case, you have 3 options to resolve the strike once taken down. To be clear, I would just like to say nobody actually answered these emails. This is an AI response. I don't actually think they have anybody that works there anymore. I think it's all fake people managing these things, okay? The whole entire law systems on YouTube are managed entirely by overworked and underpaid people living in India or AI, and there is no in between. Damn. But yeah, okay. So with private or leaked information. So the private and leaked information in question that she's been taking down have been things like calls featuring the YouTuber and her, right? I hear the LCU needs interns. No, you can be unpaid too. Well, she wouldn't want any money. She'd just be doing it for the love of the game, you know. She's a moral person. I will get to that point too, by the way. I do think the whole like I don't make bread from this isn't a good argument for like anything, right? And why it doesn't make you like more morally superior. But yeah, the private and leaked information in question is like DMs leaked between like the tuber and KP, or a call leaked between KP and a tuber, right? The video that Beckett did that was like a parody, a satire of KP's original script is also, I mean, I would argue is fair use, right? But if you want to go handle that in international court, KP, because you're Nepo baby, go right the fuck ahead. I don't know how far that yeast infection is going to really take you, but go right ahead. But yeah, like, yes, commentary is within their right. The private information, or like quote unquote private information, which is just DMs and a call, by the way. It's not like anybody's leaking fucking KP's home address. And if anybody were to do that, I would deride that instantly. But yeah, and then also the idea or concept that you like tossed around the idea of going to the police because you felt that you were being sexually harassed is even strange enough as it is. Your entire go take your corny ass back to female dating strategy. That's my answer to that. Okay, go take your corny ass back to female dating strategy so you can be miserable with all the other white women. I don't think your parents are shelling out frivolous lawsuit money for a dead ass channel. Well, I have heard through the ACC grapevine that her parents are like done with her fucking femcel girl failure bullshit. I don't know, man. I feel like she should maybe like start to get her life together or something. You know, it must be nice to be able to just do that, no problems whatsoever. Speaking of femcel girl failures, yeah, I mentioned Jars GF on the last stream, and apparently she like freaked the fuck out. Which like I didn't even pull the trigger on that. I was just doing it because listen, honey, I'm sorry, your fucking boyfriend, or man that you decide to spend the rest of your life with is like a humongous piece of shit. And you're a humongous piece of shit. Okay, fuck you. I literally don't care. And you're also delusional that you think anything's gonna come of this. Yeah, look, man, if somebody was able to determine your location on the basis of the picture of your fucking forehead, well, goddamn, they should get a fucking full ride scholarship in the CIA, okay? Because I couldn't tell where you are, all right? I would think that you're in Buffalo Bill's spare room, okay? Based off of the things I saw, all right? Two, you were in ACC Discords fucking talking about your mans, okay? And being the hog rider. Granted, I hear, according to you, that you have trouble riding his hog because apparently it's quote-unquote too big. But whatever. But I didn't do it. You freaked out. And then also, you're like saying that you're going to be doxxed and swatted. In no world was I like saying, guys, go find Jars GF and expose her. Oh, while you're at it, go ruin her life while you're at it. You're nobody. Your boyfriend is a wagey slave, a loser, and an addict. Why are you telling us this? For content. One, for content. Two, because she made like a big hullabaloo about it and freaked out when really she didn't. Three, I appreciate your patronage and being a loyal viewer to Little Guys Incorporated. Any day that you're feeling willing to leave him, we will be here with open arms. And I have amazing bedside manner. I know I don't look like it or sound like it right now, but I do. And I've been told that I'm very caring when I turn it off. But it is what it is. Also, by the way, she was like an active vocal participant in the ACC too. Like, there are videos featuring other ACC Glub Shittos that she took down recently. Like, it's just that I know it was like a thing and it was like a little bit of a freak out. Here's how much space it occupied in my head. You notice how there's no gap between my fingers? But yeah, there's that. I wanted to get around to that because I felt like it was like, it was kind of like being thrown on me. Like I had somehow like, I don't know, exposed this woman and like ruined her life and like sent the fucking feds to her home or something. I just talked about you having a big forehead and looking kind of scary. And then I didn't show any of it to the public because, like, who the fuck wants to be lambasted? Which, by the way, your boyfriend does all the time. Like, the stuff about your forehead that I'm saying right now and all that, like, disparaging stuff, which is definitely sexist and 100% uncouth and unbecoming of me. He would do all the time about the weight and size of individuals. All the time. All the time. So, sorry. Sorry that I don't muster up the care there. Anyway, that's not what we're here for today. We're here for KP. As much as I love a good old jar tent jamboree, okay? Jar will probably make a video later about his GF. Well, you know, I hope I get invited to the fucking wedding one day, all right? Made for each other, in my opinion, honestly. Anyway, we'll talk about KP, and we'll also go through a lot of her... I've pulled out a lot of her, like, non-MLP critique videos, so that way I could, like, kind of get a vibe. I wanted to make sure it was stuff I watched. We'll start with this one because it's a minute long, and also the answer to all of this is actually way funnier. So the reason she didn't watch Has Been Hotel, from what I recall, is that one of her unpaid volunteers ended up getting snatched up by Vivzy Pop to work on the show. And KP was pressed about that. By the way, KP, let me lay this out for you. If you don't have any discernible skills in animation, voice talent, writing, or anything, you're not going to get picked up by one of these indie animation studios or by a mainstream studio. You can't get a job in this field without having some discernible and very high level skill and work ethic. You defer most of the aspects of video creation onto unpaid laboring slaves, okay? You actually haven't developed any skills, so you should not be surprised that you've been left behind while the people that you have given the opportunity to learn skills to get a job. So it should be no surprise that those people have a job and you're still running the ILoveKimPossibleAlot channel with nothing to show for it. Oh, and also, yeah, you know what? Might as well just wrap around now to the whole money argument before I even watch this, right? The whole money argument is really stupid, right? There are some YouTubers that are like, I don't take ad revenue from this channel, and then it's just like a moral superiority argument. You can make money without making money. You know what I mean? The reality is, if you make enough clout capital, money seems to fall into your lap as more opportunities present itself, right? I understand that ILoveKimPossibleAlot as a YouTube channel might not generate any income for you specifically, or maybe because you're an idiot and you don't know how money works, which is completely possible. While you're at it, please tell me how much a gallon of milk costs, KP. But number two, when you make a lot of bread and you have a successful channel, or just when you have a successful channel, people start to look at you differently. Brands start to reach out. Brands maybe want to work with you. Brands maybe offer you a job. Brands maybe say, hey, let's exchange dark money in exchange for you sharing propaganda about the Russian military. Stuff like that. It happens all the time, right? So just because you don't make money doesn't mean you don't make money. There are other ways to make money on the internet that don't necessarily involve the ILoveKimPossibleAlot channel making money. Okay? So saying that a channel doesn't make money is not you being morally superior. It's just you leaving dollars on the table in the idea that maybe in the future there's some bigger check at the end of the rainbow, which, by the way, is imaginary, and you should just pick up the dollar now. But if you are going to do that, then you might want to knuckle down and learn some skills.
We're not going to be talking about the Has Been Hotel series, but something that seems to have happened around it. For those who don't know, Has Been Hotel is an Amazon Prime exclusive show about building a hotel in the middle of hell to try to reform people in hell from good to bad. It's kind of like The Good Place, but with more demons.
I am here to learn about ethnics.
No,
Nobody. A commentary YouTuber when he walks into a BLM chapter meeting. Benny Johnson when he gets a black mistress.
instead, I'm going to use this video to talk about something unfortunate in relation to the series and how editor Michael Boggs is still in the production team. If you don't remember Boggs, there are multiple links in the description, but basically him, influenced by The Lost Narrator and others, made a hate campaign against me and made—
Guys, I'm not going to be covering Has Been Hotel because somebody worked on it and they're mean to me. I will say this. I think she really missed a golden opportunity to produce nothing but like hate content on Has Been Hotel, which there's a lot of. She really missed out on an opportunity to just blow her channel up and get some serious clout capital, dude. She left it out on the table. Imagine I Love KP just starts shilling for Israel. KP's like, why I didn't like the ceasefire in Gaza. And she goes over each of the 20-point plan. And she's like, this is why I don't think the aid should be flowing freely into Gaza City. And it's because Donald Trump didn't nominate me for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Developed my post-traumatic stress disorder. And even though that was
Dude, she got post-traumatic stress disorder. That's all right. I forgot, dude. I don't want to be that guy, but like, that's kind of like stolen valor, right? Like, that's not. I feel like you should keep that one to yourself, dog. You know what I mean?
7 years ago, it's made my life hell. It's
Me. You know how people like, you know, maybe they like flinch because they have PTSD from like war and stuff. When KP sees like a really mean tweet, does she also flinch?
still does.
At this point, you're gonna end up forming a Batman-style rogues gallery. Jar, Misanthropody, and now KP. I know some of you only watch my ACC content. There already is, and they're recurring. There's a recurring cast of villains that keep showing up to try and take shots at me. Look, I hear word on the block is that British Runner's working on another Scarlet Reaper video. And he and we complete each other, okay? On top of that, we're both Puerto Rican. You can't make this up, okay?
This is not a story to gain pity, but just a matter of fact. My work capabilities have been challenged, and now
My work capabilities have been challenged. What?
I have a service dog to help me complete basic tasks. And it's
So you're like, I struggle to work because of my internet-induced PTSD. I'm not even denying that the PTSD exists. I mean, I am, but like also, I'm willing to admit that it exists and it's real, and that's all there, right? But I don't know, man. Like I got fucking problems too, man. But like, I just not to do the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing, but like, you know, when the going gets tough sometimes, you gotta down a Lexapro and lock the fuck in, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Gen Race still sucks and still impacts me in a great way. Well, Michael Blogs edited the Attic video a while ago, and as soon as I saw that, I wrote a big, long, detailed
That is not a service dog. Oh my god, the LARP.
letter to VisiPop, the creator, about how problematic this person is and why they generally shouldn't be on staff.
So you sent a Google Docie? Okay.
I even planned this before doing the canceled video as a professional courtesy. I consider Michael an abuser, and abusers shouldn't be working in the industry.
The 16-year-old hurt her feelings. It's just malign. She's LARPing as disabled. Oh yeah, the Michael was like a teen at the time, right? Dude, she got absolutely mogged.
Period. I don't know what kind of person Vizzy is, but on Twitter a bit ago, I lost it when she was talking about abuse as someone who understood abuse. But I would hope that someone
What? Wait, why? Let's not make it a competition here, okay?
like that would make sure this dude isn't working on your staff anymore, since there's a ton of evidence that he might even be a sociopath.
All right, lady. Guys, what's the over-under on whether or not the 6'7" kid is a sociopath? Actually, not to be that guy, but I feel like the 6'7" kid is like the evil version of the Rizzler. Because he's already doing like crypto scams. I don't even think he can drive yet. Is my audience too old to know what this is? Do you guys know what the 6'7" meme is? Do you 6'7"? Like that? 6'7". Go on. Michael Ba, that's her Joker, dude. She thinks she's the hero of this story, but she's actually the villain. What would the greats say about this? Eat your heart out, Joseph Conrad.
I really should have pressed charges. And that's why I won't be watching Has Been Hotel. I'm not telling you what to do.
I have kids, yes. I know that was text, but it read very dejectedly. Like, I know what the 6-7 meme is.
Viewer, but I feel like making a short about this was the best aspect to spread the word. Thanks for watching and listening to my sad story.
Thanks for listening to my sad story, guys. The only one who doesn't talk about my boy Diesel these days is Too Mad. It's gonna be wild when Too Mad tweets about me from the grave. All right. I feel like I'm going to lose my bananas when I watch this Invincible one. Okay, so this is when the first season came out. So, might as well. Okay. So the first season, everybody loved Invincible. People have been kind of like not happy about the later seasons, but I should say as a person who's a comic book reader of Invincible, reread the entire series recently. It's a really faithful adaptation, all things considered. And the changes they made were pretty good so far. I haven't really had any like real complaints. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the like people have like writing complaints about Mark, or like how Mark always loses. That's like a meme in the community now. And I mean, even when the comic was out, he lost a fuckload. It was just kind of like his thing because that's how he would like learn lessons, because he would try to punch his way through problems. It's a really good comic. If you've never read the comic, you should read the comic. Also, Robert Kirkman definitely has a thing for like fat women, because just read the comic. It should happen next season, by the way. This upcoming season of Invincible is gonna have the thing that I keep talking about. So just, you know.
So for those who don't know, the Amazon original Invincible finished its first season and has kind of swooped over the internet. I've never seen such a brand new show just get memed this hard.
Not to be that guy, but like I feel like I do the not to be that guy thing a lot. I need to stop doing that. So when The Boys was out in its first season, it was memed a lot. These shows, when they came out, were always like really different and subversive. They came out at like the right time when superhero fatigue was like kicking in, and people were kind of looking for something that kind of critiques it and makes more like cogent points about like what if superheroes were real, other than like they're cool and everybody loves them. Okay. Well, all these guys edit their videos the same way. Jesus Christ, this is like a jar video, dude. I know I'm 23 seconds into it, but it is like a jar video.
For those who might not be in the know, Invincible is a comic book recently turned series created by the Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman.
Also, I love that he's always like Mr. Walking Dead Robert Kirkman, as if he hasn't created other things. I know The Walking Dead has like made him a bazillionaire, okay?
It's easy to see why the show has captured the internet, and no, it's not just the memes, but they sure
But
are.
yeah, in my opinion, if you read The Walking Dead and then you read Invincible, I think he was just more passionate about Invincible for longer, right? I don't know. It feels like a lot later into the run of The Walking Dead, the comics, you just kind of... I don't know. I'm not as invested in Rick by the time we get to the end. And I feel like for me, when I got to the end of The Walking Dead, I felt like I wasn't as satisfied. It was good, but it's not like peak. I don't think it's like the best thing. I think Invincible is a lot better. I think if you want like a really good like zombie fiction, The Walking Dead comic is really good. The show is bad, but
Hope, and let me tell you, spoilers by the way for all of season 1 of the show, but they're just everywhere. No one is safe from the spoilers by the time this video's come
Yeah, I know.
out,
The audio's ass. I know.
which is like 10,000 years into the future. So let's break down what Invincible does differently and more appealing to just a general
Diesel does a
population that
homophobic
likes
slur on the stream. I didn't even notice. I don't see race like that, okay?
superheroes, which, if I do my math right, is you, the viewer. Let's first discuss Invincible's main influences. That's right, I know about superheroes too. I am multi-talented. Right off the bat, there's an influence from the idea of an overpowered but morally corrupt Superman. As it said in the...
Oh, fuck off. Okay, like... nobody reads comic books anymore! Listen, the morally corrupt Superman thing was already done to death by the early 2000s. By the time Invincible came out, we already had fucking Bizarro Superman. What if Superman was evil and injustice? We had fucking Superman if he was communist, Superman if he was a sycophant, as well as 40 other different versions of guy who's like Superman but evil this time, including The Boys, which I think... Does The Boys predate Invincible? They might have come out around the same time. All right? But like the morally corruptible superhero thing had already been like done. Okay? By the time we got to the 80s and like superhero fiction, we were already dealing and grappling with the concepts and ideas of what if a superhero was morally corruptible? I mean, Jesus Christ. Some of the time... Okay, look. Another one that I've read recently is Spawn, right? Spawn kills people. Spawn deals directly with all of that. Spawn's what I'm still reading, by the way. I haven't finished it. There's way too much there. Different time. We finish comics now. Hey, now you leave Red Sun out of this. Red Sun's fine. Spawn is not great. Spawn is really long-winded. The writing in Spawn is really bad in the beginning. And it's like really prosy. And he's like waxing philosophical like Shadow the Hedgehog a lot of the time about like how he misses his wife and shit. And it's really sad. But then the art is like really sick and like of its time. Also, not to be that guy, but I did it again. Punisher? Come on. That was like dealing directly with the concept of what if a superhero killed people type shit. Those on a Spawn animated series. I actually haven't seen it.
Okay, your Suicide Squad. Like, what would we do?
Okay, so... Okay, we're gonna have to fight about Spawn. I don't think Spawn is bad. I think some of the writing is long-winded.
Superman.
So Suicide Squad's whole, like, shtick... Okay, there's, like, two angles to Suicide Squad, right? It's like, I want to make a story from the perspective of villains, and then the other half of Suicide Squad is, like, I want to talk about, like, how the governmental entities in the DC, like, universe deal with its incarcerated people, right? And it's like, okay, and that's how Amanda Waller gets her start. I've also all said, like, Cecil is a much better version of Amanda Waller, but, like, Suicide Squad did not invent the whole, like, concept behind that.
I decided to fly down, rip off.
Also, I finished Peacemaker Season 2, by the way, recently. Really strong first season. That second season really putters out near the end. It really putters out. I mean, it really... Look, I know it's a spoiler, but, like, it's been all over Twitter, especially with the congressman that had, like, a swastika in his office. But the whole, like, reveal that he lives in the Nazi universe was really fucking good. You could kind of see it coming, and it was really, yeah, like, yeah, no shit. But it was funny.
Roof of the White House. Grab the president right out of
Yeah, Peacemaker good, but I understand the complaints. Yeah.
the office.
The idea generally comes from the want of our morals as a society to be reinforced by a character that fits those morals. If you go far back enough, religion has some similar ideas. Enter Omni-Man, the dad-type superhero played by your favorite dad from June.
The dad type superhero. All right, we need to go back to Media Literacy 101. All right, guys, so let's talk about the hero's journey. What role does Omni-Man represent in Mark's journey as the hero? Because Invincible is called Invincible, not Omni-Man and his merry band of men, you know, right? Nazi universe equals clean and everyone is happy. What did James Gunn mean by this? Okay, in James Gunn's defense, it wouldn't, John Cena's, I keep calling him John Cena, Peacemaker would not see the bad things because of who he is. He's exactly who the universe was made for, you know? So he just would never be exposed to those things. I would not be surprised if the Nazis were squeamish about seeing how they make their lives so perfect. I would not be surprised if they get a little turned off by that.
And the only option for casting J. Jonah Jameson.
He's invincible.
If he's invincible, why can I see him?
J.K.
John Cena made Peacemaker good. Yeah, his performance really carries a lot of the weaker writing.
Simmons. Gotta admire how much voiceover stuff this guy does post-Oscar. He was even in the last season of Kim Possible.
I think that we should blow up Kim Possible as a media franchise. You know, J.K. Simmons is also in Baldur's Gate 3, dude.
So Omni-Man is submitted into the plot to play with the expectations of the audience. We expect this to be another coming-of-age story where Mark, Sun Guy, here learns how to be a superhero from his dad.
No, well, no. You'd have to not be paying attention to the plot at all. The whole twist is a lot more sudden in the comics because they don't really build it up as well as they do in the show. Like, in the comics, it's kind of like, and it's like a shocking moment, right? Because that's how you read a comic, is you turn a page and then like you see a big spread and you're like, holy shit, what happened? But in the show, there's like all these little like nuggets of information that tell you something is not quite right with Omni-Man, and something's like a little off in a way that you should not be okay with him, and that something is suspicious about the way he talks with Mark. Right? And I guess if you're like watching on your phone, yeah, maybe you won't notice those things because it's like performance things where like Omni-Man is explaining something to Mark, but then he explains it in a way that's like a little like sociopathic, and that he switches it up.
And then maybe Omni-Man has some kind of heroic sacrifice, and now Mark has to start from there. But that's not what happens at all. There are also a lot of vague and general references to Spider-Man, as Spidey is probably the most mainstream example of a straightforward superhero story. Now, with some...
I mean, we can mince words about the inspiration of Invincible, but Superman definitely plays a much stronger role inside the heart and referential, like, piece of Invincible. Spider-Man too, because of Mark's like age and like where he's at in his life, but the Superman stuff gets a lot more like you understand that angle of it a lot more once you get further into the series. Because when you read the comics, the stuff with like the aliens and like all the space stuff, that's not Spider-Man at all.
Exceptions, Spider-Man usually is able to save the person in trouble, and if he's not, then it will bother the audience to learn that everything isn't as clear as it possibly could be. When there's something unfamiliar or forgotten about in our media,
Dude, why? It's like all these guys, all they can reference is cartoons from when they were 10, dude. I like Megas XLR, okay? Like, I think it's a cool show. Like, it's a great show, and it's like an introduction into mecha from like this weird 2000s perspective.
bothers us. Why do you think I mentioned Treasure Planet like every other video? Why does the sad female squirrel from the Sword and Stone make people sad to think about? Do you know that there's fan fiction about this squirrel? Well, now you know.
I did not need to know that.
Hell, even think of things like the Hey Arnold Jungle movie, which needed to be petitioned for like 20 years before Nickelodeon was like, yeah, okay. And then the DVD sales bombed, and it made me sad. At least Helga and Arnold are canon, so we have that. They should have just put it on Netflix, but like, what do I know? But real-life disasters are much more messy than fictional ones, where most deaths are not done for the sake of some dramatic plot point, but because of chaos and randomness, and the vengeful wrath of God.
Yes, honey. Our farm burned down, hence we are here. But you know what, kids? Sometimes things just happen. And sometimes God is a vicious two-faced prick.
So if you get this messy show where human casualties are realistic, that can be unsettling. That's why a lot of real-life tragedies draw all these conspiracy theories, because they don't seem fair to how we process information.
2021 was a different time, dude. I saw a meme on twitter.com, aka X, the everything app, and it was like the world if it was run by satanic pedophiles, and it was just stock footage of like normal everyday society.
Who really killed JFK? The world may never know.
I can't live in a world where planes just malfunction and...
I need to watch like more stuff that's like for grown-ups. Like I watched Peacemaker and I enjoyed it, and I especially enjoyed when the Justice Gang shows up and all that garbage. But I'm definitely sitting here going, boy, nobody fucking watches anything anymore. Nobody watches anything anymore. I fucking Succession. Anybody? Succession? I didn't know Macaulay Culkin's brother is in Succession.
She really do got that Tylenol lisp, huh?
disappear for no reason? There's gotta be something bigger behind it.
When major events are truly random...
I hate this guy, by the way. I'm sorry. This guy, Adam Conover, is why the left lost the last election. I like the American Gods. I'm gonna be really fucking frustrating on this stream, aren't I? I like the book better. The book is really good. I feel like the show's production value was just kind of like, bleh, and I think that held me back from it. I probably need to give it another chance, though. Go watch The West Wing, I guess, or Severance. Severance has been on the list. I just haven't given it a chance. Thoughts on KP's avatar and her superhero outfit? Well, I'll tell you this. It does nothing for me.
Nerves us, and our cognitive biases start to take over. We begin to see patterns, causes and effects, and...
FBS, I have a screenshot you need to see. Then describe what you think is going on. Sure, Chris is about to derail the stream. So there's a black guy and he's watching the Pope if he had a podcast, and the Pope if he had a podcast is watching, that's either like the Impractical Jokers who like did the sex crime, or that's Maddox in a tub with another man. I just want your first impression. What am I supposed to say? This guy, Chris, is the type of guy to send you like gay porn and be like, "What's your thoughts on this?" Is that Maddox in the tub? That looks like Maddox in the tub. It just looks like him. All right, it's like the way the hairline recedes, you know. My first impression is that I thought it was porn.
shadowy actors where none exist.
There's a great example of this during Mark's first hero-saving attempt. Not only are random civilians killed as would happen in real life, but this old woman that Mark was able to initially save doesn't end up surviving the rescue. This is unnerving to us as an audience, but unfortunately realistic if those hostile...
This guy, KP, is literally just describing the plot of the first season. She's just describing the plot of the first season. She's saying exactly what we would all feel watching this, okay? Rather than
Okay,
explaining
can we
what
all
makes
agree
it
that
so
Peggy is
interesting.
Chris type?
Nah.
Aliens were just trying to invade Earth and not caring about casualties. Remember, these super
By the way, I won't spoil it. Go read the fucking comic. But, like, those aliens were not, like, a random thing that showed up. Like, there's a reason that they show up in the first season. They're setting up the end of the series with that fight with those aliens right there, okay? That is a humongous setup that they're doing. And it's not going to pay off for, like, years.
heroes are also in high school for the most part, so having them seeing some real death and people ripped apart and the agony of human existence is like a lot. Probably the best but most subtle example of how this is played down is when Mark returns from this first alien attack. Clearly shaken up, but his mom is like, "Good job, honey. Sorry for that trauma. Mom of the year, everyone." To be fair,
The dodo is slander.
though, Debbie the mom probably doesn't have a frontline idea of how hard this can be. And speaking
Actually, that's a horrible misread of Debbie. That's a horrible misread of Debbie as a character.
of just kids being kids. When the new batch of the Guardians of the Globe take place, they, for the most part, are a bunch of teenagers, compared to the original Guardians of the Globe, which were not. As such, we live in a world where a teenage superhero team usually just means things are a little bit more edgy in terms of drama or B-plots outside of the team. You know, unless you're Batman.
Who the hell do you think?
Look, okay, if being like simplifying it down, Invincible is a coming of age story. It is. Invincible is definitely a coming of age story, but what it does is it tackles and kind of recontextualizes and fictualizes a lot of the things you don't realize when you're coming of age, right? So think about like coming of age experiences that you've had if you're an adult. You know, you go to school, you maybe meet someone, you fuck, it's like really awkward. Oh, that's a coming of age experience, right? Like the typical coming of age movies where you have your first romance, you go to the prom, blah, 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 American Pie type movie, right? Like one of those. Those are the things we think about when we think about coming of age movies. Let me tell you what a real coming of age experience is. When you get your first paycheck and they take out like 7% or whatever the rate is for taxes, and you see on your check how much was taken out for taxes. That's a coming of age experience, right? Those are the coming of age experiences that Invincible explores, all right? But it does it through the lens of like a superhero, okay? And I know that sounds crazy, but think about it like this. In one of the later seasons, and even in the comic books, Cecil says to Mark, after he and Mark have a falling out, that, you know, Mark, I know you want to save the world and help people and do all these things like what a superhero would do, right? A superhero saves people regardless of the context, right? But what Cecil explains to him is like, yeah, you can be the good guy who saves people, or you can be the guy who saves the world, right? Where sometimes you don't really have a choice. You need to make hard choices where not everybody is going to walk away a winner in order to achieve an end, right? Where sometimes you need to make the best of a bad rub because you don't have another option, right? Those kind of decisions you have to make where there's no real, like, oh, this is the good answer kind of thing are things you don't really experience until later in life, right? I mean, there are tons of these, right? Like I have staff now at the store, and like I want to be like nice all the time to my staff, but like if they fuck up, like I have to be an adult about it and say, you can't fucking do that. You're gonna like cost us money, right? And it's not that I'm like being a dick to them because I'm a fucking psychopath. I am telling them because the way that everybody gets a paycheck at the end of the day is if they do their job and I do my job. And sometimes it requires course correction because they're not me and they're not fucking interlinked with my brain, right? And it's just, that's part of what Invincible is exploring, right? And Mark's position and Mark's relationship to the government and the people in his life. Oh my God, his relationship with Eve, right? Mark, and why I've said on previous stream, this is why I love Invincible, right? I think, like, I wish I was less retarded as a young person, so that way when I read it, I understood those things. But when Mark responds to the trauma that Eve is dealing with and he responds to it correctly, that's him recognizing the mistakes he made with fucking Amber and then not making them again, right? And realizing that the adult situation and the appropriate and supportive thing to do as a partner is to just support Eve at where she's at rather than lambasting her because she's not what Mark remembered her as. And those things are like the real coming of age experience, right? And it's also like a really beautiful way to show the two characters like falling in love and becoming more apart with each other. Okay? Like fucking great stuff. I don't want to like spill all of it because I do that every time. Every time I do one of these streams that I talk about Invincible, I am telling you to just read the fucking comic book. I'm so sorry.
I'm the goddamn Batman!
Fuck Batman.
Usually, these issues don't revolve around the actual management of the team in question, and if so, most likely not at the cost of civilian lives. Invincible breaks down both these expectations by showing how childish these heroes can be, but in the spirit.
Hold on. Fucking, this is why Robot. Okay, look. Robot is a foil for Invincible, by the way. I know you're like sitting here at this point and you only watch the show and you're like, what the fuck? Robot is a foil for Mark? What are you talking about? Robot can't accept Monster Girl where she is. He constantly wants to fix it and change it, right? He constantly wants to fix it and change it, which on a surface level is okay, right? But Monster Girl says, I don't want you to change me. I'm me, right? But he can't let that happen because he's the smartest guy in the room, and that's just not how he works. He doesn't want that to happen, right? Because he has a predisposition with wanting control and wanting everything to be the way he wants. Yeah, and I can fix her type thing. Yes. If you want to reduce it to yes, right? And that has really great contrast with Mark. What's a foil? So a foil is a character that is like kind of the polar opposite of your protagonist, usually, right? So Elliot Alderson and Tyrell Wellick from Mr. Robot are foils. They represent two sides of something very similar.
Narrative, not just, childish.
I'm trying to think of other foils.
Civilians are in the hospital right now because we fought like 6 individual assholes instead of a team.
There's also.
Am I the only one who's so Robot as autistic coded? I don't think he's autistic. He's kind of like,
mandatory training program like
to me it's that he sees himself in her and projects his insecurities onto her. That too, yeah. I think that's also a correct read on it, 100%.
the X-Men or something. The government has a hard enough time keeping tabs on the current crisis to really know how to deal with a bunch of teenagers, let alone make a school for all these children. Where's Patrick Stewart when you need him? Hell, the government has a hard time making good schools for normal students. Not everyone grows a conscience when they get bit by
what
a
the fuck is she even
baldy
talking
bill or
about?
something. And then we have the big season 1 twist that you've probably seen all over the place, and it's been mean, but it's great. I think why this moment became such a staple as far as not only the ultimate flip of expectations, where a father figure kills and maims and has a total
Look, like all of this stuff is like really great surface level stuff about Invincible, but none of it has to do with like what makes the superhero story different. What makes it different is that it's dealing with like those kind of concepts that you just wouldn't get, right? Where it's like ultimately like a Spider-Man, like everything kind of works out type thing, right? And usually those themes that Spider-Man tackles aren't the same. Occasionally it does, but it's not all the time. Like those aren't usually the stories I associate with Spider-Man, right? Like the whole, oh, you know, sometimes you need to kill people to be good type thing, right? It's just not something Spider-Man would ever budge on, right? And the story would be written in a way where he doesn't need to budge on that, where it's okay.
Out with the sun, but how emotionless Omni-Man.
Lex Luthor is a foil to Superman. He's a human who could elevate himself to the level of Superman, but he's so self-centered and narcissistic that he can't do the good thing, only the selfish one. Ooh, that's a really good way to put it.
Is when he's doing it. Again, a little baby twist in the big twist is Nolan soaks up just a bit of humanity to save him from killing Mark and questioning what he's doing. And that's some really good character development, questioning if human morality is contagious or not. The show is good, yo. I think nowadays the media that works the best.
What was with the chain there? What was with that? That was weird. What was that?
Is the media that subverts expectations of its audience. We're in an age
By the way, the whole like it's not that media needs to subvert your expectations. I think this like a poor media literacy like trap that like new critics will say is that they need everything to be subverted, right? Where it's like you watch something in the first act and you're like, I think it's like this, right? And then in the third act, it's actually this, and you didn't see it coming. Pretty sure Spidey is killed. Yeah, he definitely has killed, but then usually the story like is about that. I mean, you know, let's be real. A lot of these superheroes probably kill just by bodily injury that they cause to normal people. If you want to, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Captain America at work, you know. But he definitely kills people by accident with that shield, all right? They don't get up from those. But it's not just about something subverting your expectations. I think it's like people want to watch something and be like oohed and odd, right? Subverting expectations for the sake of subverting them is bad writing, right? If you do all of these setups in the first two acts to have a payoff in the third, switching it up and doing something completely different doesn't feel like a earned payoff. It feels like an ass pull, right? So you can't just like do something in the first two acts and then pull the rug out from under somebody in the third, right? And a lot of people talk about subverting expectations as twist. It's not a twist, right? What you want to do is really have something that somebody watches it and they're like, wow, what an engaging story. Okay, where they're engaged in the story. Yeah, the subversion becomes expected. Yeah, if we keep making a bunch of smarmy superhero content where it actually turns out that the superheroes were the villains all along, then people are going to get annoyed. That's why people, by the way, I'm not surprised that people have started to sour on The Boys. Because The Boys is like a sour property as like a comic. And it's just as sour as a TV show, but for all the different reasons. Like, for all the different reasons. I am interested to see how it ends, but I definitely personally have a lot of complaints with the writing. It is very funny, though, because I rewatched some of the episodes recently. The ones where, like, they meet Firecracker and they go to the conspiracy conference. And yeah, the commentary in it has aged a lot better with hindsight rather than in the immediate, by the way, which I think is really funny. And also there's like weirdly prophetic comments about Elon Musk in there that was really strange.
general population is consuming not only much more media than historically due to streaming services and the rise of Netflix and Disney Plus and all that, but also specifically superhero stories. We are used to the general story about a teenager who is thrust into extraordinary circumstances and through his own trials has to stop a greater evil or something. Hell, most were relieved when the MCU's Spider-Man skipped the original origin story just because of how often it's been told in the last 20 years or so. Now with all of these new people used to superhero tropes, we have to find ways to be creative and challenge expectations.
I actually think the boys comment makes sense for when it was written. And I prefer... For when it was written, yes. But, like, it has not held up well at all. It has not held up well. I don't really think there's, like, a definitive version of the boys that somebody can, like, engage with. I actually like Gen V. I think Gen V being a bit smaller in scale has actually been really good. I think it kind of does what the intent was a lot better. And also it kind of like makes it a little bit less like fucking homophobic.
In order for our stories to stand out. And that is what Invincible does. If you still haven't given it a chance and want to, even if I just spoiled the shit out of it for you.
She hasn't like really said anything about it.
I think you might be surprised by how realistic these characters end up getting. And like most popular shows today, if you're doing something different in how you present your stories, then odds are you'll stand out from the rest. So what stuff do you want me to talk about in the future? Are you watching all the KP videos? Please, we need you to watch all the KP videos. Let me know in the comments.
She didn't say anything. This media criticism is terrible. You know, there's like so many things she could say about the first season that are interesting, or how they like change up the initial like setups compared to other superhero stories. Like we could keep it within the realm of superhero fiction, right? Like what separates Invincible from like a young Superboy or something like that? Or what separates those kind of things? Like I always think the Cecil Amanda Waller comparisons are really good ones to do. Because Cecil's written so much better than Amanda Waller in so many ways. Like, the way Amanda Waller operates almost makes her, like, she's just, like, the deep state personified, and also she's, like, evil for some reason a lot of the time, and it's just, it's not really making her morally complex, it's just making her, like, an annoying fucking asshole when she shows up into the plot.
And that's all, folks, except it's not time for the
Her style is why she was the worst of the brony analysis community.
Diesel, you think she watched beyond Marvel movies? I mean, she's clearly engaged with the extended universe. One would hope that she has a bit more. Listen, I'm trying to like give her an out here. All right. I got my media critic hat on right now. Oh boy. I'm interested to see her tackle race relations in this, but I think we'll do the Spider-Man one next. God. We can be bees, Mark.
So, how did it do it? How did this movie, in a pandemic, make so much fucking money?
Because it has Spider-Man on the cover.
Hi, I'm Joseph Holmes. I'm a culture critic, filmmaker, and podcast
Wait, there's actually like a lot of reasons why Spider-Man No Way Home made hella money. Are we really gonna... Oh, it had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and it had all the Spider-Men in it. Is this gonna be a video where she's just yapping with this fucking guy?
I'm podcast host of the Overthinkers podcast, and
is this guy like actually accredited, or is he just like a fucking Tumblr refugee? Should I give him respect or no?
Of course, film critic for Religion Unplugged and other places.
What?
And of course, I'm a professional nerd. I've been a comic book fan and a comic book movie fan my whole life.
He's the real deal. I stole him straight from the comic shop. It's fine. He needs a social interaction.
Not to be that guy, but none of these people have any social interaction. They're actually just very socially disenfranchised. We need to subsidize their socializing. Where's his shit? Does he not have any of his shit linked there? What's this Google Docy? That just sends me to ILoveKimPossibleAlot. I don't want to subscribe. So I just don't. Okay, I guess this guy is just a podcaster. Got it. All right.
You know I have friends other than you, right?
You'll never convince me of that.
Thoughts on KP's Avatar Spider-Person outfit? Guys, I'm never gonna find any of her OCs hot, dude.
Love you too, KP.
I'm anti KP, you know?
This is the same Joe from that one time. In case
Oh my god, is that Doctor Who?
watching this channel for like
Dude, this is crazy. KP, you should have been a Welcome to Night Vale YouTuber. Dude, damn, she's not even gonna cover the Homestuck TV show, man. She would be a great Homestucker.
the whole time. Shout out to those.
I need one of those what are they called? Like a troll or whatever. I need like a troll OC or whatever the fuck the Homestuck thing is.
People, you're cool. So Joe, what's your relationship to Spider-Man?
What's your relationship to Spider-Man? I like Spider-Man. Oh damn.
So, Spider-Man has always been my favorite superhero as a kid. I loved superheroes, but he was the superhero who seemed closest to who I was. He was closest to me in age, he was always cracking jokes, and he seemed like he was having as much fun being a superhero as I was watching him be one. When I got older, I preferred Iron Man and Superman because I was looking for more adult heroes, but there's a pure magic in Spider-Man. It's been said before, and it's worth saying again. The relatability factor.
Cool Anime Girls celebrates
Thank you for 18 months. You've been here, like, I almost said that's 2 years, but I don't know how to do math. That's not 2 years.
Is one of the most revolutionary things about Spider-Man. Remember, Spider-Man is the third most famous superhero in the world, right after Superman and Batman. What made Spider-Man different was that he was the closest hero to the actual lives of the real comic book fans. He wasn't an alien, he wasn't rich, he wasn't a full-grown adult. He was a young, nerdy kid who struggled with relationships and money problems and self-
Well, now everybody's a fucking 35 to 45-year-old with money problems and student loan debt still, so I guess, yeah.
esteem and everything that normal people,
It's 1.5 years, D. All right, well, you know.
went through. If superheroes' appeal is that they're both super and human, then Spider-Man was the closest to putting the human in
Did you watch the Homestuck cartoon pilot? No, I haven't. Why do you gotta write out the produced by Vivzy Pop starring Toby Fox?
Which made us believe being super was...
That's like when I say, I saw this tweet on X the Everything app.
Believable.
As for me, Spider-Man has always been my favorite superhero. I grew up with the PS1 game.
Kid mode.
Kid mode, baby. I'm also very well versed in both the Tobey Maguire movies and the video games.
I have not read the comic book.
So I'm aware of Bruce Campbell's amazing gameplay narration. Bruce Campbell is friends with director Sam Raimi from the Evil Dead series. He makes cameos in all the Raimi movies.
What did you have, like a meltdown? Why are we just going on about this right now? Why?
In case you didn't know that. Oh, and also, my dog is named Tobey Maguire, and all his dog shit is Spider-Man themed. I probably would have named him Jolly, you know, the goat from the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but he's a rescue and already named Toby, so I decided not to make him have an existential crisis, you know, as a dog.
Existential crisis.
Dog. I feel like the Garfield movies are, okay, and I don't-
Why is every one of these videos like a filibuster? You know, brevity is the soul of wit. I know that I'm a yapper, and I have a lot to say, and I talk a lot, but holy shit, do we take the long way around. God.
Up with the MCU and just ask Joe about it, mostly.
Can confirm. Forgive her, fanboys.
Some of us have a life. So, Joe, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. Why it resonated so deeply with...
That poster is so bad now that I look at it. Oh. If I wasn't aware of the last, like, 10 years of superhero fiction, I would not understand this poster at all. Not even 10 years, over 12, 13 years.
Its roots are from the comics and how it changed things. What is the main feeling of the MCU leading up to No Way Home?
Bad.
In the mood. Remember 2001 for its
What year did this come out? I don't like
So,
this new update.
2021.
For YouTube, dude. Holy shit. 2025. So this came out this year. Okay.
Not in my top 10 years of all time. I did not give it a good Yelp review. And ironically,
I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna literally take a poop on stream, okay? That's where I'm at right now.
Marvel movies were kind of taking a break as well anyway. We had just finished the big finale of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that was Avengers Endgame just before the pandemic. Iron Man died, Cap was gone, Marvel had just done the...
Whoa. In the immortal words of Star Wars, I attribute this to Mike Stacklasa of Red Letter Media. I know it's not him. Nobody's ever really gone.
Impossible, which was essentially create a finale to an interconnected movie universe, which had never been done before. And now is the kind of question of, where do you go from here? You could say our fictional heroes were gone when we needed them most, aka 2020. Most of the Marvel stuff that had come out after Endgame were on Disney Plus, like WandaVision, Loki, Falcon, Winter Soldier.
And by the way, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is not good. Loki, pretty good. It was enjoyable. WandaVision I haven't watched, but I've been told that I should watch it. But also, I feel like I need to do all this onboarding, so I'm not like interested these days.
Gone back to the movies in a while, what with the pandemic, and people hadn't really been very satisfied with Marvel's outings. Marvel came up with the idea to do something again, which...
Imagine a Star Wars Marvel crossover. That picture of Don Draper where he's like, Star Wars Marvel crossover. And everybody, all the executives clap.
No one had ever done before. Connect different reboots of franchises. One that would hit people right in the nostalgia and help them believe in the optimism they had before about heroism, particularly millennials and Gen X. Since Toby is our Spider-Man, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's your thing.
It's part of my charm.
It's part of something.
Charm.
Yeah, okay. I think I was mostly blown away at the time by the movie's use of taking past elements of establishing mythology of the Spider-Man franchises and turning those emotional feelings into beats in a script. We love Tobey Maguire, and we love the Green Goblin. We love Doc Ock, but I also think it's safe to say that people are generally vibing with Tom Holland's portrayal due to how young he is, and therefore accurate to the character, as well as updating its ideas a little bit, giving him a Wade and an unorthodox Mary Jane in the form of Zendaya.
Yeah, people forget.
Unorthodox Mary Jane. She's brown?
No one had ever connected different versions of movie franchises before. Sean Connery's James Bond had never met Daniel Craig's James Bond. So everyone...
Hey, don't give them any ideas. Well, sorry, hold on. There we go.
Knew that when Spider-Man was brought into the MCU, it would be a different version of Spider-Man than what we'd seen with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. It wasn't even a question. And people loved Tom Holland's Spider-Man, who was very much like a Gen Z Peter in the same way Tobey felt like a millennial Peter. And his relationship with Tony Stark...
Dude, I'm sorry. Tobey Maguire, I know people love him. You millennials love him to bits. When I watch those, like, now as, like, a grown man... I'm like, this motherfucker is too old for this shit.
was something beautiful and pure that we hadn't really got. I should say, they've done crossovers before in TV, you know, like with Law and Order and with in comic book superheroes with Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Law and Order. But, you know, we've done a lot of crossovers like the Law and Order cinematic television universe.
Movie franchises hadn't really done it before.
So, why is it important to talk about this movie?
Spider-Man No Way Home is one of the most revolutionary franchise movies ever made, and a nostalgia fan service movie that understands the real reasons we love nostalgia and fan service better than any movie.
I'm sorry, everything you're saying right now makes me want to put like a spoon to my eye, scoop it out, and then eat it, dude. Okay? I enjoyed No Way Home. I thought it was fun, and it was fine. It 100% sent the wrong message to studio executives. And now we're constantly running this treadmill of member berries in every single property that exists. Okay? I cannot begin to tell you the ire and frustration I have that there was a secret layer from Magic the Gathering recently that was Furbies and Dwight from The Office. Okay? And I know it's a secret layer. Okay? But like, Really?
Ever seen. It's the most pure love letter of Spider-Man, but not only Spider-Man, but Spider-Man fans and even comic book fans that has ever really been made. And of course, this isn't news to say, as pretty much everyone commenting on this has already said this.
And also, don't the Spider-Verse movies do a little bit of a better job of the whole like giving little bit of sauce to the Spider-Man fans for their obscure love of certain characters, right? I like, when are we gonna get Peter Porker, or whatever the fuck in a live action Spider-Man movie? It's not gonna happen, right? But like, if I was like farming Reddit karma 10 years ago, I would love to share that information on r/Spider-Man.
But this is the ultimate fan service movie. But people don't really understand.
There's something like, you millennials need to stop with the nostalgia. There's something almost like, my issue with nostalgia is that it always feels like saccharinely sweet, you know, like it's trying to give us memories of a better time, but it's never giving us something for the now. And that's really fucking frustrating, because it makes it like everything is completely disingenuous, right? And it's why I liked the recent take on Superman. And just that whole movie in general is just, it very much felt like it was trying to just do something a little different than what has happened with the character, and also just like present like feelings that were genuine and not completely like fucking poisoned by irony. You know, it's like, they don't, like, obviously they play it up as like a joke for Superman being like a nice guy, but there is like something just genuinely sweet about how he'll go out of his way to like save a squirrel, you know? And it's just, it's not done as like, oh, it's not cynical that he did that. It was like a good thing that he did that. It was nice. What about Absolute Batman? Well, you know, I read the first issue. I was like, this is pretty good. I've heard a lot of good things. I've also heard people complain that it's woke. I'll probably get around to reading it. I will say a lot of the stills I've seen are just like literally the characters, you know, in like a new drip aura farming, which I mean is always kind of Batman anyway. It's just aura farming, the comic series, but there's a lot of aura farming that I see from Absolute Batman.
How far, if I may say, the web is weaved.
Let's get started then.
How will this affect Madam Web's legacy is the real question. I can't wait for them to re-explain the movie for the next 25 minutes.
So, how does the movie start?
So, in the last Spider-Man movie, we ended with showing Jameson sporting his best Alex Jones haircut, showing the footage Mysterio played revealing Spider-Man's secret identity.
Why was J.K. Simmons cast as Jameson again, when he's the only actor who's kept from the other movies?
The directors say that they were looking at doing Jameson. They just couldn't imagine anyone else in the role. Kind of funny, since they can imagine a different Peter Parker in the role, but not a different Jameson. But Kevin Feige said the same thing about Doc Ock and Green Goblin.
But
your take on the recent Transformers run? I, like everybody else, did not see Transformers 1. So, unfortunately, I am part of the problem. Sorry, Transformers fan 27 on Twitter, or whatever your name was. I do want to watch. I do wish to watch it, but I do not have the time.
More on that
and it's
later.
not high on the list.
Another funny piece. Matt Pat of Film Theory did an episode where he
Fuck
showed
off.
the charges against Spider-Man for killing Mysterio and using the drones to kill people wouldn't hold up in court.
So, how often...
Isn't there like a... Isn't there like a fucking like law in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? No, there's just a law in the Marvel comic series about superheroes, right? And superheroing, right? So even if it's like murder against Mysterio, all those superheroes murder people all the time. But I do believe there's like a law around it or something, and it's like part of a comic series, and it's one of the reasons that like one of the like of Civil War arcs kicks off, right? Yeah, the recent comics. Okay, all right.
Has Spider-Man's identity been revealed in the Marvel comics?
Really only once in the main continuity, during the Civil War storyline in Marvel Comics, which this movie borrows heavily from its aftermath. Comic Book Resources did a good article on 15 times Spider-Man's identity was revealed, but most of them are him revealing it to his close friends, or when it was him being publicly revealed, nobody believed it. Now, Superman, he's had his identity revealed and hidden again twice in the past 10 years. So like Spider-Man is really like, he rarely does this in the comics.
Tom Holland and Zendaya are really cute in this opening.
Funny story about Tom Holland and Zendaya.
We're gonna explain this movie for the next 20 minutes. Got it. All right.
Amy Pascal has worked with every single Spider-Man cast, and she, from Tobey Maguire to now, and she says that every time she's told the leads, Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, Tom Holland and Zendaya, don't date each other. And every time they ignored her. And why not? Your opposite co-star is one of the cutest stars in the world.
You're saying
I'm gonna like actually have a giga crash out. Holy shit.
hit that?
Obviously. Toby's gorgeous.
No comment.
Another fun trivia. In the comics, Flash Thompson was the classic jock bully that he was in the Raimi movies. But the MCU decided that Peter was going to be going to a nerd school, so they made Flash a nerd rival. Also, the guy playing Foggy Nelson was also the director of the first Iron Man film.
Get the fuck. We all know that. Dude, these guys are like, dude, Watch Mojo died and it birthed all these little cancerous cells on YouTube.
So he cast himself as Foggy? Why?
Because he wanted to.
Why isn't Pepper in this helping Peter with his legal troubles?
That was a big criticism of her in this movie by fans, makes her seem awful, but the reality is Gwyneth Paltrow just isn't interested in playing Pepper anymore, or really acting anymore. Funny story.
Another one?
Go get him, Tiger, was what Mary Jane said to Peter at the end of Spider-Man 2. It's also a reference to MJ's first appearance in the Spider-Man comics, where she said to him, face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. And that was in Spider-Man 42. So, Flashpoint. Kevin Feige has a reputation, he's the producer of the Marvel movies, for trying to make sure he always stole DC movies' thunder. For example, the reason he did Captain America versus Iron Man in Captain America Civil War was because DC was doing Batman v Superman. So in this case, Flashpoint is the title of the Flash storyline about time travel and the multiverse that they've been trying to put out a movie for a while, and they finally putting out with the movie The Flash. But Marvel...
Wasn't that movie already out by the time this came out?
Making Flash's memoir Flashpoint, Marvel gets to do the multiverse and technically the Flashpoint first.
Why? DC movies are nothing compared to Marvel movies. It's basically spiteful at this point.
Kevin just needs to win.
So when did the multiverse come into the comics?
Boy, are these, dude, these guys. Oh my god, these guys don't say anything!
Glad you asked. It started in 1961.
Wait, I changed my mind.
Too late.
God damn it. Introduction of the multiverse into comics.
The first thread of this web goes back to 1961, which was the first time that in popular culture the idea of the multiverse was popular.
Please explain to me why Spider-Man No Way Home is a great cultural victory. Why? All this preamble. None of the first 10 minutes of this gave me that answer or even alluded that you would answer that answer.
This was in Flash 123, The Flash of Two Worlds. Flash met another Flash from another dimension. Even here we see the shades of, in the origins of the use of the multiverse, the way the multiverse was going to be used in Spider-Man No Way Home. Because this multiverse story had two Flashes, but it wasn't just any two Flashes. It was the Flash that most of us know, Barry Allen, with the first version of the Flash that DC had created back in the 1940s, Jay Garrick. But his comic had been canceled after comics lost their popularity during the 1950s during a scare that comic books were corrupting youth. When these characters were rebooted in the 1960s, the Flash was brought back with the same powers, but given a new secret identity, a new origin, basically becoming a completely different character. That was the case of many DC characters whose comics were created in the 1940s. They rebooted them in the 60s whenever they had been canceled characters, like Green Lantern, for example. This didn't apply to Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman because their comics were never canceled. Many of the people who were working on the 1960s versions of these characters had also worked on and were fans of the 1940s versions of these characters. And many of the people who were reading the new version of The Flash were fans of the old version of The Flash too. And so writers came up with this clever idea of the multiverse as a way of bringing back the old characters without getting rid of the new characters. It was basically a way of having your cake and eating it too.
All right, look. We could definitely shorten that a little bit. You know, we might want to take that through a second pass on the edit, dude.
You can have the new versions of the characters without killing the old versions of the characters, thereby letting the fans preserve their relationship with them. It was like having an old friend instead of them being dead or never having existed. They were just in a different country, and you could visit them every so often. For fans, this was a big deal. The idea of the multiverse would become ubiquitous in both DC and Marvel comics, but especially DC comics for a long time. There would be a lot of team-ups between DC characters and the old versions of the characters, but they would also use the multiverse as an outlet for creativity. There were a lot of stories you couldn't tell with these classic characters because it would change too much things in canon. But in the multiverse, you could.
Look, man, just let's explain how writers use the multiverse. We don't need all the comic preamble, okay? Explain how a writer uses it, and then explain how Spider-Man No Way Home mastered the concept to achieve what the writers set out originally when the concept was introduced.
To tell a story where Superman got married? Good news. Tell that in the multiverse. Want to explore an evil version of Batman? Good news. That can be in the multiverse. DC did the ultimate multiverse story in the 80s with Crisis on Infinite Earths by bringing all the multiverse characters together to fight a
How much have you played Dustboard
universes
instead?
to build back to and reboot the universe and start fresh, because they thought that all those multiverses were making it harder for newer fans to understand everything. But they would eventually bring back the multiverse because it was just too good a way to preserve fans' relationship with different versions of their favorite characters and create outlets to tell different kinds of stories. Of course, the multiverse was not invented by pop culture or comic books, but comic books were the place that the idea of the multiverse got brought into popular culture.
Man, I need to do a second pass on my review of that AI-generated RPG, because I need to make sure I'm not fucking waxing philosophic forever.
Imagination instead of just being an abstract scientific theory. Ironically, it wasn't until very recently that Marvel Comics really started to use the idea of the multiverse themselves instead of just leaving it to DC Comics, which they did first with Spider-Man. The comic Spider-Verse was a story which teamed up our Spider-Man with different versions of Spider-Man throughout the multiverse that many fans had affection for. Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Girl, who is Peter Parker and Mary Jane's daughter from the future, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, who is in the Spider-Verse movie, which we'll talk about.
We'll talk the whole goddamn time. She doesn't work.
Came together to fight a seemingly unstoppable threat. The story was instantly popular, partly because it allowed fans of the different versions of Spider-Man to have their own favorite Spider-Man in the same story. Miles Morales was a big part of this. You see, Marvel had, in the 2000s, created a version of their Marvel characters in Marvel Universe called the Ultimate Marvel Universe, where they took characters like Spider-Man and the Avengers and rebooted them with new origins and new histories like they were...
Remember, no one got paid to make this. This was made by volunteers, including VAs. I mean, in all their defense, this was like I could bang out a video like this in a day if I'm editing it, not talking. This motherfucker is spending all 40 minutes of this video saying stuff.
Starting over from scratch so that they could tell modern versions of these characters as if they were invented today. These stories had a huge influence on the movies, with the Avengers versions of Nick Fury, who had been white in the comics prior to the Ultimates version of the character, and Iron Man particularly being used as a template for the movie versions of these characters. But as the regular Marvel comics started incorporating many of these modernized elements that worked in these reimaginings into their own stories, the uniqueness of what the Ultimate Universe brought to the table was lost, so those comics were set to be canceled. And yet, there were a few characters like Miles Morales' version of Spider-Man, a black version of the character who was more innocent and had a different personality.
Man, ain't nobody remember that motherfucker also Latino, bro. White Americans, all they see white is black. That's it. They don't see anything else. But you know, they don't even talk to them about Asian people. They don't even know how to categorize them.
Peter, that people really loved. The multiverse was a way for bringing him into the canon Spider-Man Marvel Universe world. And so you can see Peter Parker and Miles Morales hanging out. This captured the imagination of comics for the same reason the multiverse characters have always captured the imagination. Everybody's favorite version of the character got to be valid and real and valued. And fans didn't have to choose between the version of Spider-Man that they got to see. We got to see all of them. We got to have whatever Spider-Man represented you. Your Spider-Man. You could follow their adventures. Peter Parker fans didn't have to feel like Miles Morales was replacing Spider-Man, and Miles Morales fans didn't have to lose their Spider-Man.
Well, you know, the woke has something to say about that. Just saying.
And the Spider-Man became friends, showing you didn't have to become competitors of each other. This, of course, reached its zenith when Sony made the groundbreaking and incredibly popular Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh my god, I'm going to have a fucking meltdown. Holy shit.
Movie, which introduced non-comic fans to both Miles Morales and the idea of the Spider-Man multiverse. Here, the multiverse gives a way to express the idea that there's always been Spider-Man by having somebody with a mask that could be anyone underneath it. The fact that we could all be Spider-Man and therefore we could all be heroes. That's when Dan Lee, the
It's on 2 times speed.
Peter Parker Spider-Man is a straight white male, but Miles Morales Spider-Man is black, and Spider-Gwen is a woman. And there's even a non-American Spider-Man. No matter what your race, color, or creed, there was a Spider-Man for you. So there are no longer any barriers to the idea with great power comes great responsibility. In an era where more and more we see a moral society as one where glory and access to all the good things of life needs to be extended to everyone, not just those who meet certain conditions of power or privilege.
All your favorite characters will be back in game.
This message that anyone can be Spider-Man deeply resonates. Of course, Kevin Feige, the producer architect of the Marvel Universe, has never been one to let a good idea that somebody else thought of go to waste when he could just do it himself and make it even more popular. Just like he did with Batman v Spider-Man.
I think Kevin Feige is actually a demon wrapped as a fucking human in a skin suit, okay? That's my fucking take on Kevin Feige. All right. He's got all those CG artists locked up in a fucking cell right now as he eyes down Sora for the future film when he'll be able to take all those poorly underpaid CG artists and kick them out to the curb.
Had to upstage it with Captain America versus Iron Man. If Amy Pascal over at Sony, working with her Spider-Man, things were doing a multiverse and making it super popular, my gosh, he was going to turn all of Marvel into a multiverse story, and of course, he was going to do his own version of the Spider-Verse.
Okay, enough. We'll get there. Back to the movie. Show me more trivia.
Side note, Mysterio had the best boss battle ever in the Spider-Man 2 game. If people don't know why that is, they should check it out.
Okay, enough. We'll get there. Back to the movie.
Avatar of Narleto Tapestering the end.
Show me more trivia.
Either way, we'll all be together in Boston. New school, new town, like in Spider-Man there. I mean, they have crime in Boston, right?
The They Got Crime in Boston line is a reference to Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he decides he's going to go to England with Gwen Stacy. He says, I can fight crime in England. They have crime in England, right?
The runes of Kafka.
The rules of Kafka.
That was just standard spell forgetting.
I do have to say, I lost so much respect for Doctor Strange in this movie.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
I was really enjoying him as the adult in the MCU who actually behaved responsibly, but brainwashing the world, even if the spell wasn't dangerous, no. I like, also, to point out, a lot of people in Spider-Man supporting cast got to conclude their arcs from the trilogy, even little things, like the brief shot of Liz Allen being on the cover of a magazine.
Tell us about Green Goblin and Doc Ock. What's their importance?
So, Green Goblin and Doc Ock are two of Spidey's most important villains, along with Venom.
Is there a reason why Venom from the Tobyverse isn't in this?
Yeah, nobody liked him. He was basically shoehorned in and not done very well, so nobody really cares to have him back.
Uh-huh. What does that have anything to do with this?
Gonna cry?
People prefer the Tom Hardy Venom, which isn't perfect, but to be fair,
Gonna be honest, the Marvel CGI has aged pretty bad. You can really tell when shit CGI. Yeah, but I don't. If you haven't rewatch Iron Man, the CGI in that is still really good. It's like actually held up. I mean, it's not even that old, right? But there's very clearly like a crunch happening, right? So it's not even like good versus bad CGI. It's just they're just overworked.
it's better.
Okay.
In Spider-Man lore, in Spider-Man's comic history, Doc Ock was the first villain from the comics who actually beat Spider-Man in a fight. He was the first villain that made Spider-Man have to level up as a hero and was always one of his greatest enemies. Green Goblin was important, not only because he killed Gwen Stacy in the comics, who was Spider-Man's first real true love, but because his agenda was always not just to beat Spider-Man physically, but morally. He didn't want Spider-Man dead, but corrupted, like him, to prove that the Goblin's moral code was right and Spider-Man was wrong, because it wouldn't survive under pressure.
You're an amazing creature, Spider-Man. You and I are not so different.
The movies took those traits of those villains and made them
Venom. You guys remember that? That was a fucking bad movie. I tried to watch the Venom The Last Dance. I made it 30 minutes into the movie and then I turned it off because I thought it was fucking bad.
the central themes of those movies. Doc Ock was even tougher an opponent than the Goblin and represented the pressure of being Spider-Man was overwhelming. Goblin was even more of a satanic tempter figure than in the comics, something they carried over into this movie.
Trying to see if you have the tingle thing.
I have the tingle thing, just not.
Another note, I hate Peter Tingle. It's Spider Sense.
That's the joke.
I don't like it.
Hey, look.
God, this is so fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. Somebody get me off this ride. Venom, Venom. Venom is hot. What? The things I've seen the internet do to Venom is crazy, dude.
Look, Venom got upstaged by a tree.
Hiding in the shadows. Hiding from who you truly are. Oh. You can't escape yourself.
Look, Norman Osborn destroyed the Goblin mask that everyone hated.
Everyone hated the mask?
Ever hear the Power Rangers jokes?
People are so picky.
Who cares? What, dude? This is actually insane. This video is taking a really long time to get to the point. I want to know what makes this movie so culturally relevant for superhero movies. You know, like what about No Way Home sets it apart from the rest of not just modern MCU, but makes it such a touchstone for people.
Is Aunt May's Feast food pantry from the comics or just the games?
The comics. Same deal. Mr. Negative Guy runs it.
Do you think Eddie gets freaky with the Venom? What if instead of Venom, his name was Freakum, and instead of shooting black goo, it was cum?
We'll be right back after a brief word from Daily Bugle Supplements, the only other daily fix you need.
Hey, look, Jameson got an upgrade.
Spidey sells.
Attract customers to your business. Make a splash at your next presentation.
Dude, every stop with the Family Guy cutaway gags. God damn.
Keep grandma company. Protect your crops. Confuse your neighbors.
So, here's an interesting question. Do you think Peter is right or Doctor Strange is right? I'm firmly on Doctor Strange.
What if instead of Doctor Strange, his name was Dr. Freak, and instead of making portals, he sucked toes and ate ass?
Side here. I know, controversial, but in my defense, I'm completely in the right.
How do you mean?
Well, the idea is to show mercy to these villains because they're still humans, so their lives matter. What about all the innocent people they might kill? Don't their lives matter? You're putting those people at risk by not sending them back. But isn't that always the risk when you take when you show mercy? Yes, but in this case, the rest of the people in the world that he might be putting in danger haven't consented to that risk, even theoretically in a criminal justice system. That means it's a deeply immoral choice. Also, as MatPat pointed out in another film theory video, because of the time when they get
Every time they use MatPat film theory. Oh, that's fucked.
Get sent back, they all would die anyway regardless.
You need to get out more.
Oh, interesting here. So, how Spider-Man evaded Doctor Strange while in the astral form is really interesting. There's a controversy among Spider-Man writers of how Spidey reacts to his spider sense.
Peter Tingle.
Spider sense.
Tingle!
Is it something that he has to consciously react to?
She can't even, like, act. That's the thing, too. Like, she's got no discernible skills, dude. No wonder everybody left her behind. They learned things. They grew as people. Kind of like Peter Parker in Spider-Man. End video. Boom. Look at that. I did it.
Or does he react to it instinctively? Does he feel the tingle?
Tingle!
And then decide how to react to it? Or is his reaction, like when he dodges a bullet, instinctive? It looks like here, the makers of the film are taking the side that it's instinctive. Therefore, Peter can dodge Strange even in his astral form.
Spider-Man No Way Home. It's a Christmas movie.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Oh, fuck off. Hey, guys, remember when he said that? Remember when he said that in the Spider-Man? Remember when he said that? Remember?
He said the meme!
Can we talk about all the references?
I can't say that. This lady's gonna fucking strike this video. Oh boy, let me catch you in a Minecraft survival server.
Memes now?
Hold on. Let's just wait until all the Spideys are together.
Fine.
Where's Connors? He told me he wants to stay in the truck.
You can't let him stay in the truck! Peter mentions that the tech in this world is very advanced. That's a reference to the fact that the world of the MCU, what with Tony Stark and Banner and S.H.I.E.L.D. all existing in it, really is more of a sci-fi world than Andrew Garfield's or Tobey Maguire's was, which was much more grounded, not being a part of the shared universe. The only parts of the universe that were sci-fi in the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield movies was Oscorp. But in Marvel Universe, even beyond just the magic and stuff like that, is so much more of a sci-fi world. Fun fact, Ant-Man and Doc Ock had a romance in the comics.
Okay.
Gross fact.
Dude, he's gonna get so much Reddit karma for that.
Maybe it is a little.
You think Paul Rudd would explore Doc Ock? Who's the actor for Doc Ock? Do you think Paul Rudd would explore his body as Ant-Man Tiny? Like in The Boys when he ran on the penis?
Who would have seen that coming?
Up here. He's up there.
Why would Doc Ock leave? He just leaves?
I don't know.
Why though?
So the plot can happen.
Bitch, I'm out.
Strong enough to have it all.
Too weak to take it.
Here it is. This is why Green Goblin is different. He's happy when Peter is ruthless with him. He's happy when Peter is punching him that way because he doesn't want to kill Peter. He wants to make him like him. Originally, May was going to die in an ambulance, but they had to change it because of COVID. Honestly, I think this works better because then the cops can chase him away and it makes it more tragic because he's not even allowed to grieve.
My responsibility, May.
Oh, what Norman said? My moral mission. No, Peter, you listen to me. You have a gift.
Is everyone in the ACC just unironically autistic? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
You have power. And with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
She said the line. She has to die. Hashtag Doctor Strange was right.
Let it go, Joe.
Why has she not pressed the button by now?
Have you tried switching to decaf?
Great, it's just some random guy. Hello. I hope it's okay.
Dude, you know when people saw this in theaters, they all burst out and there was like a clap. It was clapping in the theater when they're like, "Oh my God, it's Tobey Maguire!"
Yeah, I just came through this. Just closed.
You're Peter.
Yeah, Peter Parker. I've seen you two.
How did he recognize them? He says he's seen them before?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know everything.
What good are
I
you?
need to rewatch the movie because it's probably an answer for that.
All the other stuff I do know.
Sure, Jan.
That came out of you. Yeah,
You can't do that, huh?
No. How on earth does that even? Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Look, this is where we're gonna do this, okay? It's isolated, so no one should get hurt. We draw them there with the box. It's the one thing they all want. All we have to do is figure out how we're gonna get there.
Oh, we could portal there.
What?
I'm magic now.
Yeah, no, he's right. Yeah, he can.
Yeah, we saw.
Yeah, he is. Wait, really?
Dude, I got Doctor Strange magic. Yeah. And I promise you, I won't turn into a supervillain and try to kill you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about Spidey and the memes.
So it all started.
Don't go on forever this time.
It doesn't listen. You can't do like a long-winded like setup like that and then refer back to the setup as long-winded, and then the joke is that you don't that you filibuster, okay? Right? The joke being somebody's annoying does not mean you get carte blanche to be annoying. You know what I mean?
I've only got like 5 pages of notes. So far, we've discussed how creatives have used the device of the multiverse to reboot characters without replacing the old versions fans love, and how the multiverse can be a metaphor for diversity and potential for anyone to become a hero. But Kevin...
Sure. I agree with those sentiments about the multiverse as like a tool, right? Cynically, I would say that the multiverse has been violently abused by the system of Hollywood for convenient writing and oohs and ahs from the audience to immense diminishing returns. My argument of whether or not No Way Home is a cultural victory would actually be a cultural defeat. I like the movie. I do think it's good. I think it's a fun time, but I think it encapsulates and like shows exactly the wrong, like I said earlier, it shows the exact wrong message to the executives that make these movies, right? The reason people resonated with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man is because there was a piece of genuineness in his performance, and there was a piece of genuineness in the art of the film that was created because it was created by Sam Raimi, right? Who gives a shit if the multiverse was made for fucking toy lines? Whatever, like, who cares, right? I'm talking about it as a writing device, not as a marketing vehicle, but yeah, sure. But like, whatever. Like the problem with multiverse writing right now is that writers in Hollywood want to get to the things that people are really interested in, right? So let's think about like the James Gunn universe for the DC cinematic universe, right? We have Superman and the Justice Gang all set up, and we all know that eventually we're gonna be there. There's gonna be a Justice League movie, right? You could theoretically shorten that window to getting to that movie by pulling some shoestrings and like multiversing it out. Zack Snyder recently made a post about Henry Cavill still being Superman, and that has me mildly worried. But also, in the same respects, if you wanted to get a bunch of the Snyder guys who are not invested in the James Gunn universe into the theaters, of which there's a lot of them, enough that they re-released Justice League, right? Well then, what do? You do, I don't know. How about, hear me out here, an evil Superman plot where the Justice League has to gang up together to stop him. And then the evil Superman, hear me out here, hear me out, guys, is Henry Cavill. Right? So it's like, a lot of the times for these studios, they see it as an investment vehicle, so they're just rushing to get to those big things.
What do we do, argue with you?
This is a reminder that Miles Morales only continued to be a character after they shut down the Ultimate Marvel Comics like is because his comics are some of the only ones that sold, not because they care about black people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, you also got a point. You got a point there. I'm just talking about the cynical perspective and how it rarely works because of the incentive that, marking shit and, no, I do agree with it. It is definitely why some of these executives make it happen. From like the creative standpoint of being a writer, I think a lot of writers definitely want to also get to those oohs and ahs moments because we all want to make the quote unquote film that everybody loves, right? Imagine the restraint the Venom writers had with Carnage, okay? That they didn't just blow their load instantaneously. Are you kidding me? Like, oh no, that's injustice. Come on, like, you can see it. You can see it. It could happen. A little worried with what Zack Snyder said. They also introduced some of the multiverse concepts with Peacemaker, right? So I definitely could see them trying to do a shortcut. The point is that the multiverse is used as a shortcut to get to the things people like. And instead, it's keeping us from getting invested in what's already there. You know, I'm already invested in Peacemaker as a character. I'm invested in a lot of these other characters that are around in the DC cinematic universe. And I'm interested in the world. But if you introduce the multiverse, you're gonna start to fucking make that all seem pointless. Because, oh, fucking Peacemaker died, but now there's another Peacemaker, and he's kind of the same, but he has a mustache.
Feige still found ways to use the multiverse in ways that both revolutionized franchise filmmaking and explored the...
Yeah, they technically established the multiverse in Peacemaker Season 2. Yeah, but you know what I thought was interesting? They specifically said there was only 99 other universes.
Emotional appeal of nostalgia. First, Kevin Feige revolutionized franchise movies by using the multiverse to have actors who play the same character in different entries of the franchise to reprise their roles and meet each other. This may sound obvious, but this has barely ever happened before. Sean Connery's James Bond never met Daniel Craig's James Bond. Michael
Yeah, I know.
Keaton's Batman never met Christian Bale's Batman. They happened in the Star Trek reboot with Leonard Nimoy, Spock meeting Zachary Quinto's Spock. Like time travel. And it happened on TV in the Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earths adaptation to have previous versions of Superman meet each other.
They are desperately, I could see them, like, somebody is trying to massage Robert Pattinson into doing a Justice League movie. I can see it right now.
And of course, you know, a Flash, etc. Using the device of the multiverse. But nothing had ever been done.
Dude, they made, this is real. This has really happened. My screenwriting professor in university made us watch Crisis on Infinite Earths. We watched the first 2 parts in class. I swear to fucking God. And then we reviewed the script. And all I could think was, this shit sucks.
The movies of this scale before. This means that the movie could connect multiple generations of fans of the characters in ways that had not been done before. With a generation that resonated with Toby, Andrew, and Tom all getting to see their favorites all working together. On a more subtle and still overt level, the movie was about celebrating incorporating fan internet culture into the world of canon. Typically and historically, fan culture and creative culture has been separate, with creatives being behind movies, doing their thing.
Is your professor evil? Yes.
Culture around those characters doing their thing. This makes sense because up until recently, the feedback loop between artists and their fans was pretty one-sided, with creators influencing fan culture, but fan culture not overtly influencing the stories. Tolkien's fans had to...
I think you can't have fan influence the art, because I think the things we want as fans are not the things we think we want. Like, what you need and what you want are two different things, and the same thing goes for the media and art you consume, right? Like, I know sometimes a character death is bad, but sometimes you need to get that to really be satisfied, you know?
Write letters to him after he finished all these books. But now you have the internet, where fan communities can grow and have a voice and have jokes that rise to the top for everyone to see, and a character that has spanned decades, and a movie franchise that has crossed 3 reboots and is now incorporating those different franchises into one story. So Spider-Man fans...
I appreciate how Invincible introduced the multiverse in an interesting way by making every single iteration of Mark evil. And it works really good as a way to, like, characterize what makes our Mark, you know, different, right? And it really puts him at odds with himself in a way that helps him grow. Arrowverse is so fucking weird. There's a strange Christian undertone to some of the plot lines. Dude, Vigilante in the Arrowverse is like really strange.
It's had a lot of internal debates and jokes that they make about the character, out of the character's history, that have never made it into the movies, with memes being made out of the old 1960s Spider-Man cartoon with 2 Spider-Men pointing at each other being made into a meme, which was in the 1960s Spider-Man Season 1, Episode 36, titled Double Identity. The team up of villains hanging out together being made into a meme, and jokes being made about how Tobey Maguire is the only Spider-Man to have organic web shooters. This movie took those memes and in-jokes that the fans had as the fan community and made them canon to the movies. So for the first time, a big franchise being influenced by the fan...
Doesn't Spider-Verse predate this? Didn't Spider-Verse already do that? Why, this guy's talking like Miles Morales don't even have like an amazing movie or something.
fan community instead of just the fan community being influenced by the creators. The fan culture, they had built a feedback loop.
I think that fan culture, as a creative, I think fan culture stands at some serious odds with creative culture. I cannot ever allow something I make to be influenced by my fans in such a way that it would ruin or devalue the thing that I make. And the idea that that could happen is so fucking horrifying and wrong to me that I just violently wish to disagree with it on the basis of my soul and heart. I don't know if I could word that in any other way than that it stands at odds with my existence as a human.
Back into the news stories about the character. So the feedback loop was not only now creators to fans, but fans back to creators. Even the team up between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange is a nod to the comics because Spider-Man and Doctor Strange were the only two superheroes that Stan Lee created with artist Steve Ditko, when most of them were created with artist Jack Kirby. But very little has been made of that in the comics, with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange never really having a real relationship with each other despite other comic co-creator. I mean, there are some interesting stories with J. Michael Straczynski, and also in this storyline that they adapted from the aftermath of Civil War, there was some stuff, but very little. This movie gives them one they never had in the comics. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have done a little bit with this with Star Wars too when it comes to the feedback loop. Specifically how in The Mandalorian they incorporated the jokes that fans have made for years about how bad the aim of stormtroopers are into canon by having the characters in the story make fun of how bad stormtroopers' aim is.
No, it is annoying. The universe can't take itself seriously. I'm okay personally with like the stormtroopers never being able to hit their target. I guess like that's a fine joke, but the thing is nobody ever leaves it at like a joke like that. They always like double down and they're like, blue milk, Jabba the Hutt, Millennium Falcon, scruffy looking nerf herder. What's another one? Who you calling scruffy? I'm your father. Ewoks. You know, it's never just like a little bit. We always gotta milk every single piece of it.
Spider-Man was really the first to really celebrate that aspect of sending the feedback loop back in and making it a central part of what it was celebrating as a story. The other thing that Spider-Man Far From Home brought to movies and multiverse was how the multiverse can be a device for closure.
Enough. We'll talk about closure when we get to Doc Ock's moment.
Such a great moment.
Such a great moment. By the way, Dr. Connors, does he die in the other movie?
He does not, actually.
Huh. So he's not safe either.
Oh, there it goes.
You okay?
Oh, my back.
The back meme!
The back meme!
My meme!
I think I fucking hate him. I think I fucking hate this guy. I think I fucking hate this guy. Not a fan. Fuck. I'm not gooning. I'm fuming.
My back. Oh, my back.
I want to fight an alien.
I'm still like that you fought an alien in space.
I'm lame compared. Like I fought a Russian.
Obviously, this is a meta commentary on how everybody talks about Andrew Spider-Man being the lamest Spider-Man. As with everything else, they made the fan community conversation a part of his personality and character arc.
Then there's the, you're amazing.
Because that's what his movies were called.
Because that's what the movies are called. I know, we get it.
You're amazing. Just to take it in for a minute. Just wish we could see Peter.
Now, here's another interesting tidbit. Originally, it was going to be America Chavez bringing Toby and Andrew back when Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was going to come out first, but COVID forced rescheduling and reshoots. I honestly think this version works better.
I don't apologize. There's gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere out there.
Miles Morales reference.
Apparently that was improv by Jamie Foxx.
No way.
Power of the sun.
The redemption of Doc Ock's arc.
Dude, this is fucking... I am not stopping. I want to plug something while I'm here. Okay? Because I haven't fucking talked about this. And, I've been plugging away on this. Okay? So I am releasing a 40-page zine of the book we've been working on, which 40 pages is a lot for a zine, I know. But you can pre-order it now. This is what I've been plying away on during the day. Part of why streams have been less frequent. The full book is going to be 300 pages. this is gonna help produce that full book. So if you could, I would love it if you could pre-order. I've shown a little bit of it when I did it on stream, but please unironically buy my book. It is not all member berries. There we go. I just need to get the shilling out of my system. There we go. I'll pin that one. I'm getting to it, Batman. Damn, we get what fucking Zoomer Batman in the chat.
So good.
The snake oil salesman is not in it. That one is not in it.
What are you doing? Get it off me!
There you go.
Andrew Garfield saves MJ.
Now we need to talk about the restoration.
You got it. It all started.
I'll get you some more coffee.
You see, all the previous Spider-Man franchises ended in largely disappointing circumstances.
You know, you don't need to like watch the other Spider-Man movies to get No Way Home. But like in order to enjoy No Way Home, you have to watch the other Spider-Man movies. Like I think I would like it less if I didn't see the other ones, cuz things just wouldn't make sense.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had a disappointing third entry, and Amazing Spider-Man had a largely disappointing second entry that set up character development for Peter and larger storylines for Spider-Man that we never got to see. But by
I thought all of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies sucked.
telling a good final story with these characters that incorporated elements of those previous disappointing entries, No Way Home gave closure to those character arcs and even redeemed those stories because those stories, those lame stories, made possible the payoff character moments we got in this story. The convoluted romance drama of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, well, like all those payoffs require so much onboarding, which is exactly my problem with superhero fiction these days. There's no way to get into it without like knowing a bunch of bullshit.
For Spider-Man to give words of romantic advice to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. The messed up Amazing Spider-Man 2 made it possible for the dark and relatable depression, self-loathing of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man believable, and made his return and redemption some of the high points of the movie. There's a reason that everyone cheered the loudest in the theater that I was there when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saved MJ. This goes even further into the Spider-Man comic book lore. You see, this comic is based on a few Spider-Man comics, including taking inspiration from Spider-Verse, but a big part of it is based on the One More Day storyline from the comics, where Spider-Man went to Mephisto, which is the name of the devil in Marvel Comics, to erase the knowledge of his secret identity to the world to save Aunt May's life after he revealed it himself as part of the Superhuman Registration Act in Marvel Comics version of the Civil War storyline. Mephisto agreed to do this, and Peter agreed to let him erase his marriage to Mary Jane, as a clever way to get rid of Peter's marriage in the comics so younger readers could relate to him more. Many fans obviously objected to this story because it was the opposite of Spider-Man's ethos, sacrificing others in order to avoid responsibility for his mistakes. No Way Home redeems
Andrew was good in No Way Home, though, don't you think? Yeah, I do. I think he was good in No Way Home. I do agree that like No Way Home gives a satisfying conclusion to his character. I do agree with that, like that assessment 100%. It's just I feel like I have to do a lot of onboarding for all of this. You know what I mean?
Storyline by taking its basic elements and making it a story where Peter learns to take responsibility rather than avoiding it.
We all freaked out when this happened, didn't we?
I lost years off my life.
There's gotta be something we can do. Can't you just cast the spell again? But the original way, before I screwed it up.
We're too late for that. They're here.
Okay, I gotta get this off my chest. This spell bothers me.
A lot of things bother you.
It's just so arbitrary. Why does this make a difference? This new spell. Why is it that it's too late to do the old spell, but not too late to do this new spell? And why is it that
I don't know, man. It's fucking magic.
Don't forget who Peter Parker is. Where did Peter Parker pull that from? It's just so arbitrary. Why does the old spell not work, but this new arbitrarily invented new spell actually work?
Because plot needs to happen.
Yeah, this plot needs to happen. Another thing, why did he just leave? If Peter is just planning to explain to them who he is, why doesn't he just stay there to the introductions then? It'd be a lot less mean. They're just standing there in the middle of nowhere. You could explain to them why they're there and then swing them away and take them home.
It looks dramatic.
It does look dramatic. Also, it would make far more sense to make his intro to them as Spider-Man and not Peter Parker. They know who Spider-Man is, so if he unmasks, then they have context. Introducing him as Peter Parker is just strange. He's just a total stranger.
Hi, my name is Peter Parker.
Of course, the real reason they did things this way is they needed a way to write Spider-Man out of the Marvel Universe if they couldn't renegotiate the Sony Marvel deal once the contracts were up.
So it wasn't so the plot could happen. It was so capitalism could happen.
Pretty much.
These guys are like inching so close to understanding what's really culturally relevant about No Way Home, but they're just missing why it is. They're like all of the All of these callbacks and memes and member berries are really amazing and make me feel good. But capitalism is bad. Why? Why is the capitalism bad? What did the capitalism do?
I will say, I am also slightly unsatisfied with the ending. I get why they did it, but also, it just feels like a step backwards. Tobey Maguire already told the story of a Peter as a loner who couldn't get close to anyone, and Spider-Man 2 pretty much ended that story and showed how he could get close to people and that was okay.
Yeah, but the part of, and I know the reason that they did this with Peter Parker, not Tobey Maguire, the part of the reason they did this with Tom Holland is so that way they could normalize him a bit. Because a complaint people were starting to have with Tom Holland is that his Spider-Man had all of these things that a normal Peter Parker would never have. You know, oh, he's friends with Iron Man, which is fine, but then also he gets all the Iron Man gear, and he gets all this science-y stuff, and he's basically a sci-fi superhero who saves the world all the time, right? But this normalizes him, it humanizes him, and it helps people resonate with him again, because he was becoming hard to resonate with, because he was treated so differently from a normal person.
The new Spider-Man trilogy put Spider-Man in a community of people he was close to, and this movie showed him with MJ and Ned as a team. That was bringing something new to the Spider-Man world that we hadn't really seen before. Now we're just back to Spider-Man stories we've already done and don't feel like they need to be rehashed. But that's just me.
Okay, so that's the movie. So why does this all resonate so much with people?
Okay, well.
Yeah, why is this movie? What? Yeah, okay. 36 minutes in to the 40-minute video, they finally are going to explain why it's a great cultural victory. Dude, this is like fucking Chairman Mao explaining why his red spider guy is actually the best one, dude.
This is what this movie gets about nostalgia stories that other movies don't. People think nostalgia means looking back on the good times and making you happy, but it actually doesn't. Studies show that people do get happier when they're looking back on the old times, but not just the happy old times, but also the sad old times and also sad memories. But why is that? Because looking back on your life, the good and the bad, puts your whole life into the realm of a story. When you're living your life, stuff is just happening. Some of it is bad stuff, and some of it is good stuff, but it's all just stuff. If you had mostly good stuff, that's good. But if you had a lot of bad stuff, that's bad. And if the bad stuff outweighs the good stuff, then your life is bad. And even the good stuff is good, but it just ends. We fix that by putting our life into a story of where we started, where we are now, and where we're going. If our life is a story and we like the story because we like where it ends up, or at least where we think where it ends up is worthwhile, then even the bad stuff isn't so bad because it makes the good stuff possible. And
Get to the fucking point.
the good stuff is even better because it's good and because it's also making possible the good stuff that will come later. When we're young, when we try to make that story for ourselves, we end up disappointed because the story we thought we were in takes roots we didn't expect or want. And so we have to keep changing that story.
That I can make it.
When we look back, the story is basically over, so we can put it into a story that means something to us, thereby redeeming it. By having the Spider-Man actors redeem their roles, they encourage the fans to look back on their own stories and see them as redeemable. Like,
I don't know if I agree with this like assessment on nostalgia. It feels like I feel like he's trying to justify it. And it's not really, I don't agree at all.
like all generations, the generations that watched Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield growing up are disappointed in much of their story. But by watching Tobey and Andrew make a good story out of a bad
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fans, always the piggiest bitches. Eat your broccoli, god damn.
story, both in their franchises and in their personal lives, it inspires the audience to see their own story as redeemable. And of course, this is the same gift that...
What? I don't think people engage with this media at that level. It doesn't, that's not the message it presents either, too. Like, from what I recall in the movie, Peter not, like, reintroducing himself to, like, MJ and, like trying to rekindle a romance right there. Like, him being, like, adult enough to walk away. That was like him like realizing he has a responsibility as Spider-Man first, and he can't constantly keep like giving shit up for everybody else. You know, like I don't understand this whole the Spider-Man movie helped me look back at my life and realize that it was actually pretty good. I don't think people engage with it that way.
Tobey and Andrew give Tom Holland, and what then Tom Holland gives the new generation. They tell him that you get to choose to make the bad into something good now. As a young person before you grow old, you get to decide if the death of your aunt or Uncle Ben or the love of your life will lead you to a bad story or a good story. Peter decides that it will lead to a good story because her death isn't just a bad thing that happens, it's something that gives him the ability to be the hero the world needs, to take responsibility and therefore save the world. And that is the message that Spider-Man has always given people. And that is what the new Spider-Man gives young people today. It's not a coincidence that Spider-Man No Way Home resonates so much today. We live in a world where we are more disconnected.
No, I think this movie is aged badly comparatively. In fact, watching you talk about it now in the year 2025 reasserts my belief that it was not good for superhero films.
Connected from each other than ever. We live further from our families. We aren't getting married. We see friends less. We're disconnected from our past, from our religious heritage, and therefore disconnected from the meta-narratives that make us feel like, regardless of what our life was like, we are still a part of a bigger story.
Explain what the meta-narrative is. Tell me what the meta-narrative is in the context of a normal individual person going about their life.
That had a happy ending. So our lives were contributing to that and therefore were meaningful. The multiverse has always been a storytelling device that teaches us you don't have to lose one thing to have another. We can be connected to each other as communities and as a narrative. You don't have to lose Toby to get Tom. You don't have to lose a white
fucking goddamn fucking high school ass script. Oh my god.
To be a black Spidey. Fan culture and canon culture can even become one and the same.
No.
The fact that we have a Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has as its entire point the fact that it's a continuing narrative where every story is connected to the one before and therefore matters, can be seen as us trying to bring a grand narrative back to our lives. What Spider-Man No Way Home adds is that you don't have to ignore the bad parts of your life in order to lead a beautiful life. The bad parts of your life can be redeemed when you look back on it and when you're living it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please remember to leave a comment and share this video with a friend or two or five.
No, don't go to That was a fucking slog. I'm not even gonna lie, chat. That was a really big slog. That was fucking exhausting. I'm going to the Snape video now. By the way, I watched Gangs of London. Really good show. A little weird, and it took like a lot of like near the end of the season that is currently out for Gangs of London. It just kind of goes in like weird spaces. It kind of feels like they're doing like and then in terms of like script writing, rather than it feeling like it's cohesive. It just kind of feels like it's going on forever. I have retained none of that. I'm sorry, there's a video here that says the pathetic crash out of Pizza Cake Comics, and it says rape porn in big army font.
Welcome everyone to another Harry Potter video.
Dude, of course she's a Harry Potter hound, huh?
Yo, cause you wanted those, right? I guess. If you don't know me, I'm KP. I talk about Harry Potter once. We mostly talk about cartoons here. Subscribe. Anyway, for those who don't know, HBO, which is Warner Brothers, is making a Harry Potter series, assumingly to cash in on the franchise still.
We've got to have money.
Look, man, it's a multi-million-dollar franchise. What did you think it was just gonna go away? It was just gonna live inside fucking Barnes and Noble and Universal Studios? God forbid. Nothing ever dies.
Because we don't have to crunch everything into a movie, which was always a common complaint about the movies, by the way. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix had 766 pages.
Dude, it's gonna be great when they remake it and everybody is like black and they like use magic to like magic away their poop to a poop dimension. And I don't even give a shit if they recast the actors, by the way. Like, you know, like, oh, you're telling me Snape is black, Hermione's black, she was ginger in the books, right? Like, I don't care. But they do need to magic away the poop.
2-hour movie, right, guys? Which arguably turned out better because Harry is a fucking brat in the book. At least the Deathly Hallows had somewhat of the right idea by splitting the plot into 2 movies.
Guys, in her defense, she just read the book 6 months ago, okay? It was on her educated reader card.
Movies, because we have to have more Harry Potter media.
She's gonna do Owls of Guardians of Ga'Hoole next.
In mind.
Do you think she was a Warriors girl when she was a kid? You think she read a lot of the Warriors books? I feel like she was definitely going around on the playground in elementary school meowing like a cat.
Because Warner Brothers is making a new Harry Potter land where they recreate the Ministry of Magic. And yes, there is new merch. And before I go on...
Who gives a shit? Am I supposed to be mad about that? Great. I'm glad. Good for them.
Yes, unfortunately, J.K. Rowling is involved in this project.
She is involved in this project. Snape's gonna come out and his name's gonna be fucking Ebony whip smack him or something. And there's gonna be like a trans caricature in there.
If you're new here and don't know my views about all that, see that old video I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And I know everyone's still salty at her, but boycotting Harry Potter isn't going to do anything at this point because she's just fucking rich.
Wasn't she not involved with Hogwarts Legacy anyway? 1. 2. I mean, yeah, be a conscientious consumer. I don't even like it don't be like I'm a conscientious consumer, but I recognize this is bad. Like if I'm still eating the food, but I admit that Papa John's is like a racist, I'm not really doing anything.
Why?
Diesel, have you read the Warriors Cats books? No, but I remember the girl in my class in elementary school who read the Warriors Cats books, and I have read posts on the internet about that. So I definitely know I am correct in my assessment of the meowing on the playground. Warriors Cats elementary schoolers become horse girl adults.
Mentioning all this stuff. Well, besides knowing a lot about Harry Potter, which, you know, aged great. Thanks, J.K. Rowling.
Thanks.
There's been an interesting casting choice that has people talking. To my knowledge, there hasn't been a lot of actors being cast for their show yet, except John Lithgow as Dumbledore. You know John Lithgow, he was that short guy in that movie you liked one time.
I protest! Harry, you put your name in the goblet of fire. Closer!
But my favorite character, Snape, was recently cast, and it's a doozy, by actor Papa Escobar. And that's the
Papa Estu or something. Papa Estu. He's a really good actor, by the way. He's really good in Gangs of London. He's just a really good actor. I think he would be good in a Harry Potter themed movie. I don't know about Snape. He is a really good actor, though. I think he definitely... I've mainly seen him on small screen stuff. Gangs of London was the last thing I saw with him in it.
only time I'm gonna say it because I don't want to mispronounce his name again. Dumb white girl. In this move seems to be pretty problematic. Unlike Black Ariel, where people were mad because racism, this choice will have some negative consequences on the core material, which, you know...
Yeah, guys, you remember that part in the Harry Potter books where they talk at length about the skin color of Snape?
Oh, thanks, guys. And by the way, disclaimer that I am a dumb white girl, and don't take my word as far as me trying to represent anyone.
He does
or
have
anything.
he has huge shoes to fill. Yeah, that is actually, yeah. Yeah, he's got really big shoes to fill.
This is mostly an analysis of the plot from Harry Potter. Point 1. Snape is kind of an awful person. It's minimized.
Yeah, Papa Eastu is incapable of being an awful person.
In the actual movies a lot, but Snape bullies children, like, viciously, to the point where Neville Longbottom's biggest fear is Snape. Not Voldemort, Snape.
What frightens you most of all?
Professor Snape.
Sorry?
Professor Snape.
So that has a bunch of racial implications now.
What do you mean that has a bunch of racial implications? I'm afraid of Snape. Who would make that connection? Am I, like, insane for not making that connection? Does Snape being an asshole, like, reaffirm stereotypes about black people? What are you talking about? Because Snape threatened Neville Longbottom? Who cares? I've never in my life thought that when a black character acts bad, it's because they're black.
Point 2. Snape is described as greasy and unkept, and
which, I mean, you know, you could be brown and be the first two. Black people can also lose color, to be clear, okay? I'm brown as hell, but, like, I can lose color when I'm sick.
very pale. So out of all the characters in Harry Potter, Snape is the one who has a pretty visual description. I'm all for color.
Okay, yeah, same thing with Hermione, and she also has been said to be black now, but, like, we're talking about really not super important traits to the character. Like, does Snape... Okay, here's the question you gotta ask. Does Snape's character get ruined if he's black? What changes in the story if Snape was black? Right? Would Snape have a different story if he was black? I don't think he would. I don't think he would. It kind of seems like Hogwarts itself is, like, not racially divided at the time of the books. J.K. Rowling might feel different, but my perception of the universe is not that Hogwarts is segregated, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Colorblind casting, but maybe take it to a character that doesn't have such a recognizable look to him.
I think she's just mad they casted a black guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Also, greasy
How would Snape look if he was black or Chinese?
and unkept is probably not what you want your main representation to be.
What do you... Guys, this is actually... She is actually just racist. He's not going to be the only black person in the Hogwarts TV show, assumedly, right? Like, it's going to be more than one black guy. We're not literally doing Token from South Park, okay? A black person can be greasy and unkempt, okay? No, like they're just people. You're just people.
Point 3. Snape is bullied by a bunch of white guys now.
I mean, if you want to look at it that way.
Awkward. So if you haven't read Harry...
Oh, God.
Harry Potter, James Potter, Harry's dad, is kind of a dick and never really gets any character development.
You always have been, and you always will be, a butt trumpet! You know why? Because you've got a trumpeting butt! No, I haven't. Yes!
Diesel, she obviously doesn't know any black people. I know. I know. Oh my God. I don't even know if she would be able to, like, understand a concept of, like, someone with locks, dude. I don't... You think KP... You think KP has ever had her edges did? Can a girly pop get her edges did, bro?
Hey guys, I'm Snape! Look!
Hogwarts has minor actual racism in the background with those Indian twins, but honestly it's still mostly magical racism.
Can we just chalk up any racism or stereotyping to the just J.K. Rowling got it wrong?
It doesn't sound anything like my butt! Ha! You look stupid now. You do. Alright!
When Snape and Lily and James and Peter and Lupin and Sirius were all kids, all of those guys, minus Lily, bullied Snape.
Why don't they make it a younger group of racially diverse wizards?
No one knows.
So that way it's, like, extra not racist. We could do that. You know, let's go whole hog. Snape's already black. Fuck it.
Knows why Lily still went for James. The verdict's kind of meh.
Seriously, what are you seeing that guy?
But look at all the racial implications.
You are like, oh my God. Dude, what an insane image to put here. Dude, you would swear this was Beckett's satire video of KP with an image like this on the screen. You were saying that the parent characters of the Potterverse are what kind of insane connection are you making?
If Snape is black and everyone else isn't, woo.
Of course they're not all gonna be white and he's gonna be the only black person, you fucking nutbag.
Woo, it's horrible. And Voldemort's all about blood supremacy. Like, you know, the...
Yeah. Whoa, lady, you can't put this on screen. You're gonna... Yeah, that's why Voldemort's bad. Because every time somebody makes an allusion to bad guys, it's just a Nazi. All right? Voldemort is evil. He's a wizard supremacist. Okay? Nobody's saying what Voldemort did was good.
Eugenics. Go look it up.
Google it.
Having Snape be hypothetically the only black guy there might be...
He's not gonna be the only black guy there. You're inventing things to fight.
A really bad look. And also
This is insane. This is like a long-winded, roundabout, woke argument to say why Snape shouldn't be black. Okay? You're trying to gentrify the fucking grifter content. It's actually crazy.
Really make a lot of sense. Voldemort's all about that supremacy, but I guess he isn't racist. Cool.
Yeah, because Voldemort's not racist. He's magically supremacist. Okay? It doesn't matter whether or not you're black, white, straight, Asian, gay, fucking, I don't know why I said it in that order, but like, he doesn't care about that. What he cares about is whether or not you're a human, a muggle, a mudblood, or a wizard.
Points for Voldemort.
It would be hilarious if he was the only black guy there. Yeah, I don't, there are people who are like sexist who are racist. Those people exist, okay?
I heard the bleep and saw the image on screen and thought a spirit was throwing a sucker punch at me.
Why was she bleeping the swastika, the word Nazi, but not blurring out the swastika on screen? Yeah, does Voldemort care if you're trans?
And lastly,
I think it was Grindelwald. Grindelwald was World War II.
an important plot point in the book is when Snape calls Lily a mudblood, which is a racist term in Harry Potter language.
It's not that it's racist. There's more than one type of bigotry, you fucking idiot. You fucking room temperature IQ.
Mudblood's a really foul name for someone who is muggle-born, someone with non-magic parents.
And that ends the friendship. So maybe having your not white guy be racist, maybe...
What the fuck, lady? Stop putting racist epithets on the screen, dude, or epithet iconography.
Isn't the hottest look.
Black people can also be racist. Shocking idea, you fucking insane person.
And of course, the common criticism is, why didn't you cast Adam Driver, you cowards? He's biologically made to play Snape.
Stop it. Stop. I hate it when people do fan cast and they're like, this actor looks like the character. They should play the character. Fuck you.
Snape. He's right there. We were waiting.
You had one job.
So all in all, this is just a hot mess. But of course, we'll have to see how it's handled in the future. So what do you guys think? Are you still gonna pirate it and not watch it officially to fuck J.K. Rowling over, or what? I guess let me know in the comments or whatever if people still use the comments. Comment, discuss, subscribe, woo. I'm kind of...
Dude, her heart's not in it, dude. Her heart's not in it. Her heart's not in it. Oh, shit. Someone show KP Kanye West. Oh my god. I heard she's actually still friends with Lily Orchard in private or something. It was just like for the public's sake. My top 10 favorite Pokemon. I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel if I'm looking at her top 10 favorite Pokemon, aren't I? Does the new little... Well, you know what? Fuck it. Might as well watch another racially motivated ILoveKimPossibleAlot video.
So you guys are on the internet, right? I assume you're on the internet. And since I haven't talked about it yet, I thought it might be a good idea to talk about the new live-action Little Mermaid that's coming out.
You didn't look at the comments. Well, you heard her. Nobody uses those anymore.
Summer. And you know, the internet kind of just doing its thing. The trailer released on September 9th, as well as premiering at Disney's own fan convention, D23, and a lot of people have been talking about it since. We've had some time to kind of see everyone's opinions about this. I figure it might be a good time to kind of deconstruct some of this nonsense. But for those who haven't been paying attention, I have clips ready. Context, we have it.
I don't know who these people are that sit behind a computer and decide to type these nasty messages, because
Dude, it must be like so great to be like a media's. These aren't even media's journalists. I don't even know what it is they do. Hollywood slopagandist. I don't know. How do you people have a job?
I don't have that in me. If I don't like something, I will just move on. I don't feel like I need to voice my opinion. This is a...
You are on a television show where you're voicing your opinion, not to, glass houses.
Mermaid.
So I've broken down this discussion in a couple of categories as far as where people's complaints are coming about. One big complaint is that this isn't historically accurate compared to the depiction of how mermaids have been depicted, and let me tell you, that was my favorite one. Did you know Triton originated from Greek mythology? That was invented like a long time ago. The idea of combining humans and fish to create a whole new creature has been around for most of human civilization, even before the Greeks.
This motherfucker didn't look up a thing.
Mermaids were originally called sirens, and the general idea is they would sing really pretty songs and cause sailors to look at them, and then the sailors would crash. Press F to pay respects. Historically, manatees were also confused to be mermaids. No, I assume if you only saw one half of a manatee, you knew about
okay,
mermaids,
I don't want to have to play devil's advocate and be the racist in the room. But their arguments were that she is black, not if that's it, right? So saying the Greeks invented it is not answering that, because the popular depiction of what a Greek person is just a white guy in a tunic. Okay.
Mermaid, so.
Yeah. Also, mermaids and sirens are not the same thing, but whatever.
The other idea.
They should have made her Chinese in the image of Jesus Christ.
Is that mermaids have always been kind of sexy. A lot of mermaids don't have bras, for instance, and use their hair to cover stuff. And obviously, there's the obvious problems with mermaids. Someone didn't think out this mythology too. Some of the other notes is the complaints about the historic accuracy of this to the original Little Mermaid tale. Get it, tale? And let me tell you, have you heard the original story of the Little Mermaid? Because it's dark, and I don't like it. There's a pretty clear consensus.
Of course you don't like it. It makes you feel bad. You can't handle a single iota or moment of any emotion that isn't rapturous joy from children's media.
That the story was inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's bisexuality. The mermaid and the prince being in two separate worlds and not really being able to have a relationship. You get it? You get it? As a side note, I think it's kind of interesting to see how Disney characterized Eric to also return Ariel's feelings by being hypnotized by her voice. This story doesn't have that. Did I mention it's a downer? Also, side note, the series has Hans Christian Andersen, as an actual character played by Mark Hamill. Because I think it's funny and weird in hindsight, because the story talks about how mermaids don't have any souls. Disney magic. There's a real statue of the Little Mermaid in Denmark where Hans Christian Andersen is from. There's ballets inspired by...
What the fuck does any of this have to do with anything? You haven't addressed their argument at all. If anything, you saying Denmark is reaffirming that you are actually helping them. You're doing a better job of helping them than I just did by saying that everybody involved in the creation of the original Little Mermaid was a white person.
The Disney and non-Disney version. There's a lot of ways to interpret this story, which is in public domain, obviously, at this point. So it's
We should have a fucked up Little Mermaid that's evil and kills people, and it was made and filmed on $1.
Argument. It's dumb. It's dumb. Go home. Speaking of the Little Mermaid series, which you can watch on Disney Plus if you're curious, the series also featured Gabriella, who's
Dude, she sounds drunk every time she's doing this, right? I'm not crazy.
Not black, but Hispanic in origin. So by the get-go, this has always kind of been the case. The Little Mermaid series is always kind of considered B-canon, I think, for the most part, though. I don't know, it gets confusing because of,
conflicting founder origin stories compared to the
I'm going to fucking explode into a million pieces. I'm gonna literally die like in Minecraft. I'm gonna fall over, go, ugh, and I'm gonna turn to dust, and I'm gonna drop all my items.
prequel, but you know, it's still important to mention. She's also deaf, by the way. And I think the last argument is the general aesthetic. People want the same thing that they've gotten over and over again. But I think the argument needs
What if KP was black or Chinese? Can somebody get that guy on that? Can somebody make KP, but if she was black or Chinese?
to be broken down to if the skin color is the only thing that is bothering you, or just some other things. For example, I'm not a fan of live-action Ariel's tail. It's weird, it reminds me of a betta fish. I don't know why it's layered twice on the bottom or whatever, but you know, whatever, I'll get over it. But the other thing too is we have movie-accurate Ariel in the parks, like, all the time. I don't think this movie's gonna change that. I don't know, maybe they have two Ariels.
Well, then maybe they just have a black Ariel. Fuck. God forbid a girl get a tail, dude.
I don't know, that'd be neat. But if this is really bothering you so much, then maybe change your expectations about the movie. They have a lot of different takes and
This is before the movie came out, right? I like how people were like, there was a movie that they're talking about releasing the casting information for, and somebody was joking that they were going to put Aquafina in it. And I love how because of The Little Mermaid, Aquafina is just associated with some annoying fucko that ends up in a movie.
different artistic input, and sometimes those different takes kind of fall on their face. But the same thing could be said for like the Beast in live action movie. Oh my god, I'm going to talk about the Beauty and the Beast live action movie positively. There's artistic differences there, and no one seemed to be complaining as much. So
Nobody saw the movie. Or maybe everybody did. I don't think anybody remembers these live action movies.
don't hide behind that argument unless you really understand what you're saying. But again, the live action
I don't
movies
think you
won't replace
understand a
the
single thing you're saying, actually. I don't even think you're conscious right now.
original. It probably won't have any impact on the parts, probably. And if this is not how you imagine Ariel in live action, then, you know, it's probably not the movie for you. Life goes on. We still have 3 whole seasons of the Ariel TV series. Like, I think you're making this movie too big of a deal, but it doesn't wipe out the original, I promise. Just because The Lion King made a lot of money doesn't mean it's as good as the original. It's not. It sucks. It sucks.
Well, unfortunately, you are not a Hollywood executive, and I would say that animation is so yesterday. And this new live-action animation we've been doing is actually the bee's knees. Please give whoever fucking directed that Lion King movie $2 billion more to make a third one, and this time Timon and Pumbaa are going to kiss.
Anyway, don't get so angry about a fucking movie.
And that's all, folks, except it's not time for the ending gag.
Dude, these ending gags are the worst. I'm so not watching that right now. So goodbye. Let me keep going. Did she do a video? Is Velma really gay? Top 10 boys fangirls love. Oh boy. Let's see. Should Anastasia ethically be a Disney princess? Isn't Anastasia a Don Bluth movie? Isn't that not actually like a Disney movie? Like literally. She makes me feel old. Yeah, me too. The problem with DreamWorks. The Nightmare Before Christmas doesn't make any sense. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll do that one now too. The problem is, sure, why not? I don't fucking care. We're here.
So, The Nightmare Before Christmas is a movie that's really popular, and I don't get it.
I get it.
I know all you she-they bisexuals love The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't get it. Don't get me wrong, I really appreciate how much people love this movie, and man, do they love this movie. I think Jack Skellington has been on, like, every possible item known to man. We got to put the skinny Skellington man on the car seat cover, or why else would you buy it? Yay, economics.
Look, man. Don't be fronting on the 3XL Jack Skellington pajamas.
I'm not one for an oversaturation of lore, you know, the mythology behind all of the stories. And Nightmare doesn't really have a lot of lore. Something I noticed, though, which makes my disdain kind of more disdainy, some of the lore doesn't really make sense. And for those new, lore is like...
Who gives a shit about the lore? Who's ever watching The Nightmare Before Christmas and go, this is inconsistent with the lore? Listen, man, there's holidays and you go to their worlds by going through the fucking trees. Who gives a shit? Fucking the Santa Claus is real and so is the Easter Bunny. We just don't see him.
How the world is defined. Think Harry Potter, or maybe that's a bad example right now.
What is the geopolitical? What is the geopolitical? Okay, are you fucking serious? Okay, what is the geopolitical structure of Halloween Town? Is Jack Skellington like a mascot, or is he like the town's leader, or is it really just the mayor? Does that imply there's a bigger government in Halloween world?
Or think Lord of the Rings. Tolkien hasn't done anything bad lately, right? He's dead, so I hope not. I'm not one for an oversaturation of lore. It's kind of putting the cart before the pony. You get it? Because I used to do pony videos, and now I do only sometimes. Let me backtrack. Most of the time when you're writing your fictional story about, let's say, a flying spaghetti monster, you have to think about the world and mythology that spaghetti monster lives in. Even if it's a modern day setting, for a story to feel natural.
Why are we showing Bright?
You have to explain where the spaghetti monster came from. Or
I like the concept of Bright, but the execution was horrendous.
He's hinted it. How does the beginning of your story happen if Spaghetti Monster is your protagonist? How does this world work if it's another world?
It works because it's magic, you fucking unwhimsical bitch.
You don't have to be like Tolkien and write like a whole lore book thing, but a little explaining would help.
Okay,
things.
it exists because Halloween magic. Okay, it exists because Christmas magic and Santa eats the cookies and he comes down the fucking chimney.
Many times sequels suffer from this problem when there's only enough background information for the first.
No, this is not that old. This is like 4 years old. This video was posted 4 years ago, and she's talking about the flying spaghetti monster.
For example, in Lion King 2, these enemy lionesses or whatever are never really introduced as a concept in the original film. There's no passing mention to enemy lions. The lion seems pretty.
She is female Jar. Yes, she is, dude. How has no other streamer gone over her actual media criticism videos? Because these are fucking bad. This is actually comedy, dude.
Between the races here, even visually so.
This girl is like, why isn't everything like Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn? Maybe because that wasn't the fucking point of the story.
Well, not really. We've talked about this before, but like, where were they in the first movie?
They just weren't in the fucking movie, okay? It was Hamlet. All right, do you really want to... Yeah, are we really doing this?
Where are you? Hiding. Nightmare has much of this as a general problem. There seems to be something lacking in its initial setup to get immersed in the world. Take this line, for instance.
How do you get immersed in the world? It's Halloween, dude.
Leave that no-account Oogie Boogie out of this!
This would imply some past history that we, as the audience, haven't seen yet on screen. Don't
Yes.
get me wrong, we don't need to
Yes, they're leaving a little crumb there. Okay, it's a little bit of a Chekhov's gun that we'll get back to later.
see whatever Oogie did to get that reaction out of Jack, but how that dialogue is written seems kind of odd. The film has a lot of these...
What do you even mean? Okay, fucking, you could... The not having it there is just like... You could just fucking... Why doesn't Jack Skellington like Oogie Boogie? Oogie Boogie's mean. That's it. That's you telling me that Jack and him have history and they don't like each other.
That leave the worlds aesthetically interesting, but lacking in some common sense elements that really make it feel organic. So maybe someone has to tell the world about it, and I guess it's up to me. Please don't send me mean comments. I'm trying to be constructive. Let's start by establishing an official timeline of the film and its canon and non-canon expansions, so we can find what is definitive.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Unexplored and what feels a little off. In order of events. So we have this video game prequel for the Game Boy Advance, I guess.
It
Remember
is.
those?
Who is sitting here saying any of
Called The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Pumpkin King, which does explain the Oogie origins mentioned earlier, as well as establish
Okay, he owed the mafia a debt and that's why he was murdered. What the fuck?
establishing the rivalry between Jack and Oogie, hinted at in the actual movie. We just talked about it, pay attention. And another video game sequel called Oogie's Revenge, which sounds like exactly what it is. Oogie kidnaps Sally, and then he sends his Oogie army, or whatever, some skeleton dudes to try to take over.
So Oogie Boogie was like a mobster and before he died. You know, this kind of implies that like the Halloween town is actually the afterlife. Interesting that.
The rest of the town, and it's up to Jack to save the day with the sticky thing from the 90s, and it's green.
What is this video even about? She's critiquing the writing, the world building of The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think she just doesn't like The Nightmare Before Christmas, but she can't come up with any genuine criticisms. So she's just saying that the world building is bad because they don't fucking spell everything out for her.
And it's
I've never once watched The Nightmare Before Christmas and gone, why does Jack Skellington not like Oogie Boogie? The second you meet Oogie Boogie, you know exactly why. It answers the question. He's just an asshole. It's like set up and then paid off. That's it.
It's like slime. There's also a sequel comic that came out, but it didn't really. It's pretty light, so it's there, but I'm not counting Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, you know, I always wondered what the other holiday worlds and Nightmare Before Christmas universe would be like. That too, yeah, that I actually have thought about because it presents like a fun question that you can kind of like ruminate about as you're like hanging out with your friends on Halloween and or Christmas.
As the official canon to this, because even though it can technically coexist with the plot from the main movie in between the first and second Kingdom Hearts,
the entire concept of like the Nightmare Before Christmas movie existing in the same universe, and Jack Skellington met Sora and the Nobodies and Goofy and Daffy Duck, and then never said anything in the first Nightmare Before Christmas movie is the most insane shit ever.
the same timeline also retcons other Disney films, so it exists in its own space, but it does a good job of getting the original cast back. Almost.
Let's pop him in a boiling pot, and when he's done, we'll butter him up.
Yeah, I sure did. A heart. What
That's me when I'm doing voice acting. Yeah, I sure did.
should we do?
Not that any of the other official games are that better.
It's over. It's over. This time you've gone too far.
Damn, that's actually really fucking bad for a cover. Oof.
It's over. I'm serious. Just who do you think you are?
We miss you, Danny Elfman. Now that we've got an official timeline structured, I'll put my nitpicks in order from
Lock, Shock, and Barrel died via suffocation because he was locked in a box, electrocuted to death, and drowned. Oh, what? Don't they say that in their song? Or isn't that like said in their song from what I remember? Look, it's like a fucking 90-minute movie, and it's been a while, okay? I gotta watch it.
least to greatest on how they both influence the plot and might pull some audience members away from the suspension of disbelief because
I don't think anybody who is like autism ass critiques
things are missing and it confuses me. AKA how to lose yourself in film without questioning your surroundings. How believable is it?
Yes, it's in their song. Okay. Why only Americanized holidays? Look, man, it's implied that the entire forest is filled with holidays. Okay? Are we doing this?
The worlds of these holidays are pretty Americanized. So
what kind of critique is this? This is such a weird critique. This is like the problem with a critique like this is that like you're like we're like way past the scope of the project is what you know. It's like this is a movie about Halloween, which is a quintessentially American holiday. I know we celebrate elsewhere in the world, but it really became Halloween here in the United States, right? And let me give you an example because I actually have a historically contextual example to give. All right. I learned about this fucking today, so fuck you. So they used to carve faces in something back in the old world. ward away demons and spirits, right? I'm sure we've all heard about that. But when we came to the New World, the things that they would do it with weren't readily available. But what was a pumpkin. And pumpkins were also easier to carve. So they would carve faces into pumpkins and then put them out to ward away the spirits. So that's where that came from, right? So a lot of the things that we do for Halloween came here in North America. I do believe the whole trick-or-treat thing actually came from Canada, but I have to double check on that. Literally, I was listening to this on the ride home today, right? But yeah, it's like they're very clearly all American holidays. It's clearly like a story for American audiences. And why do we need to, like, not everything needs to represent everybody too, on top of that. But also, like, even that aside, it's just like completely like outside of the scope of what the movie is trying to do, right? Like, if it was important, they would have put it in, right? Like, when somebody questions, like, why isn't that there in the movie, right? Most of the time, if it wasn't important, that's why they didn't put it in.
So how does that work? Is there like a planning committee or something that votes on how the holiday trees get planted or something? I'm not suggesting that displaying mostly American holidays is a bad thing, but it's a little off-putting if you consider not only the history of some of these holidays.
I am so glad we invited the Chippewas to join us for this holiday meal. Welcome to our table, our new primitive friends.
Oof. And I guess by the math of all that, the holiday...
Oh, boy. Where is Juneteenthville? That's outrageous.
worlds are roughly 300 years old or so. Maybe the ostracization of non-Christian pagan holidays.
She is a female jar.
A little bit off-put.
Dude, where's the Hanukkah tree? Where's the Hanukkah tree? What is Hanukkah Town's opinion on the Israel-Palestine conflict? That's the real question.
To Nightmare's credit, Christmas movies in general have a hard time balancing their lore while also being inclusive to other cultures.
They're called Christmas movies. That's why Adam Sandler made 8 Crazy Nights.
If Santa exists, does that mean Jesus does too?
I'm gonna fucking crash out. I know so many people that are like fucking Muslim and Jewish and every other fucking color of the ocean, okay? And they all celebrate Christmas. Christmas is not Jesus holiday. Christmas is gift tree cookie holiday, okay? I know you don't think that, but that's how most people interact with the holidays. They don't have some weird religious trauma that they're projecting on the others.
This gets a little more complicated when we add other holidays to the mix.
Excuse me, is this Hanukkah Town?
No, it's the Vatican, and I'm Pope Shlomo. Oi.
Look, I'm not saying we need a Festivus, but acknowledging some cultures even a little bit.
This is actually just not a criticism at all. This is a completely ridiculous criticism. Don't atheists and agnostics still celebrate Christmas? Yeah, if they're not like a miserable fucking Scrooge.
It's helpful for those children who are crushed by Christmas time and feel left out. It's not so much of a fault with only Nightmare, but something to consider as our culture and media hopefully move to a more progressive...
I don't even know what the answer to her problem is. Is that like, when you do a Christmas movie, you should have a Kwanzaa segment and a Hanukkah segment and a Festivus segment and a fucking like other segment for some other holiday I don't fucking remember?
Side. Hopefully... So it's pretty clear what Christmas Town does to prepare for its holiday, but I'm a little lost in what the other worlds do for theirs.
In the fucking Easter world, they paint eggs, you stupid bitch. Oh, what do they do in the turkey world? I don't know, they make a cornucopia. Why are we doing this?
The opening song of the movie establishes the tone and the aesthetic of Halloween Town, but not really explicit job for what the town does in order to
They make scary things happen so people are festive for the holiday.
prepare for Halloween, or what they even do on that night. It's implied that
They go outside and they spook people.
They go into the real world, if that's what we're calling it, and scare some humans and stuff. But it's a long
Why does any of this matter? Okay, this isn't what the story is for. Why the fuck did she want to know what the gross domestic product of Halloween Town is?
stretch to assume that the holiday is dependent on their involvement, unlike Christmas Town. I guess we could have Christmas without Santa like Grinch style, but generally that's not the norm. So what's the town in charge of? Is their involvement critical to the holiday? I don't know, the movie never tells us.
Movie isn't about that, lady, okay? It's A Nightmare Before Christmas. It's about Jack Skellington finding out about Christmas cheer and joy, and then bringing that Christmas cheer and joy to Halloween Town.
Going on the lack of real explanation to what the hell is going on in this place, not only are we, as the audience, are generally unclear about Jack's role. Yes, I know he's a Pumpkin King.
What does that mean?
Jack is hinted to have once been alive, as well as having a greater role than most of the citizens in the town. So was Jack ever alive in the first place?
Yes, he was alive.
Guy in Kentucky. I'm Mr. Unlucky, and I'm known throughout England and France.
And it's never really elaborated.
Yeah, but he's known throughout England and France because he goes around spooking people.
That's a cool concept, but it brings to question the world dynamics when we have demons and monsters in general, as well as mythical creatures who've never been humanized to begin with. How'd they get there?
They got there because of magic. Damn.
People get reincarnated in Halloween Town? The closest we get is Sally herself, who was created by another citizen made out of leaves. I assume other dead people? Right? There's also a graveyard with its iconic spirally thing that's on everything, but we never really—
Dude, it's like she's mad. Did some goth baddie like fucking curve her at the Brony convention or something? Like, damn.
know if those are real people or those graves are just
Why is Barney purple, huh? They never answered that.
for show, or if they're like little apartments for the
This is like one of those, what's the unemployment rate in Skyrim, but bad. Yeah, I like the unemployment videos in Skyrim.
Lilligans or something. Someone better called the police on Sally. There's probably a mix of all the above. But that's just speculation. Jack wasn't willed into being as a skeleton himself, and I've seen the theory that Jack was the headless horseman of Sleepy Hollow, which adds up really well with the 300-year timeline. But this mess is also really confusing, considering what little we know about their creature creation in the world. I guess it's a little bit of chicken and egg, but like, did Finkelstein create the town by himself? Did Jack come into the town?
This is such a jar video. This is such a jar video.
When he was already dead, and it was fine. I don't know. I don't know.
What if this was Saber Sparks' favorite movie, dude? Dude, this is like a she got curved by some. I'm telling you, she got curved by a alt baddie, and she never let it go. And this is the video.
I'm confused.
What does that mean?
Let me know in the comments.
She pines for Shigo, dude.
You think happened?
What is a Pumpkin King? I don't know, man. He's the most festive fucker in town. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ.
What exactly is a Pumpkin King? Like, really? What does that even mean?
It's okay to ask these questions, but pretending it in any way impacts the quality of the movie is asinine. Thank you. Thank you, Axis. You summed it up nicely.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Like, what does he do? Does he plan the holiday? Is he primarily—
None of this affects the movie in the slightest, okay? Look, man, it's a little whimsical town that you can kind of fantasize about while you're laying in bed at night. Jesus fucking Christ. God damn. All right? What fucking, like, can't you just be like the rest of us and just dream about a nice Halloween town-themed wedding? Jesus Christ.
really in charge of the town? Although we get some technical expansion about how Jack became the Pumpkin King via the Game Boy Advance game, by defeating Oogie that first time. We don't really know what that means, especially when the town itself already has a mayor.
I'm only an elected official here. I can't make decisions by myself.
That's a good joke. That's a really good joke.
Got it, two-faced politician. You get it?
This is not You are not like a clever, smart woman. You're an idiot. You're like an insane idiot. But how does this affect LeBron's legacy? The most annoying part of this is like, yeah, obviously the joke is very obvious, but the delivery of the joke is really done very well because of how extreme it is. He's not just literally a two-faced politician. Each side of his face acts completely different, and that's what makes the joke funny. Dude, I swear to God, this is like somebody critiquing. This is actually somebody critiquing like actual jokes and saying that it affects the plot of the movie.
Joke, that's the joke. I know there's someone in the comments who's gonna be like, I just got that joke now, and I'm like, you're welcome. It's also confusing because, unlike Christmas, we don't have a defined mascot for Halloween. Okay, maybe Jack became the defined mascot as this movie became
I mean, he definitely did for like millennials. She thought she was making a review. She was just really playing out a toddler asking her parents questions about a movie.
That is true. But there was nothing established about something concrete.
Look, man, the fucking mascot of Halloween is a pumpkin, Jack Skellington, and like a witch around a cauldron, okay? Maybe a Dracula or something, but like, come on. It's like Halloween has like a rogues gallery of creatures.
Before the film came out.
That is also true.
It's just confusing. Like, how are these guys contributing to Halloween? I don't understand. Just tell me what a Pumpkin King does. Just please tell me. I'm so confused. Just tell me what a
Cosmic, where did you learn these things about the citizens of Halloween Town?
Pumpkin King is.
What does that mean?
Are the turkeys from Freebirds the official Thanksgiving mascots? I don't know, man. I think we should make, what was that Thanksgiving slasher film? I think that'll be the mascot. Boss man, why can't superpowered baddies be real and feed me Chef Boyardee while filing my taxes? Look, man, I think you can get like 2 of those, but you're not going to find a baddie who knows how to do taxes. Those don't exist.
Lastly, there's an epilogue in the official soundtrack that talks about Jack and Sally's skeleton children. How did they figure that out?
Well, that's adorable. Who gives a shit? That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Jack,
the Hot Topic couple can only dream of something so wonderful.
Kind of bone daddy. Boop boop. He doesn't have any
Jar editing, dude.
That's the joke.
Can't even
Don't
do
make
it
me
himself.
explain it more than that, which isn't really relevant, but it's there.
None of your critiques have been really relevant, if you want me to be honest.
It's canon.
I actually find you insufferable. You haven't like personally slighted me like Jar did. I mean, Jar didn't either. It was more he personally slighted my friend, and I take umbrage with that specifically for the way that he did it. But like, you're very quickly approaching how irritating Jar is.
Old Jack still looking quite thin, with 4 or 5 skeleton children at hand.
There you go.
Those little skeleton children are adorable.
Go. I guess it's interesting, but it doesn't really add too much to the timeline of the canon. Thanks, Patrick Stewart, you're helpful. Regardless of the points that I brought up here, let it be known that I enjoyed the film regardless.
I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you.
I even have a Jack Skellington pajama piece, complete with slippers. It has his little face on him and everything.
So, well, I'm sorry. You, like, critique these insane things that the movie doesn't even need to answer. Okay, and then you said you liked it? Like, I feel like you're just trying to, like, lessen the blow.
The film may not be my personal favorite, but as I mentioned in my
It
original
may not be my personal favorite. Owns a onesie and slippers.
Treasure Planet video, go watch the video, it's good. And Treasure Planet if you haven't seen it. I know you have Disney Plus, don't make me come down there. Time can change how a film is
Disney Plus is too expensive. I think you guys should find a way to watch that via cheaper means.
perceived and even help preserve it when its original release is lackluster, touchstone. And the company that is releasing it is slowly regretting their choices.
Back then, the Nightmare Before Christmas product was fine. It had a very niche market. And it took 3 years to finally get an okay to do it. It was terrifying because it was also the onset of the internet.
Crowds screamed with delight. The gutsy decision worked because an already familiar property resurrected the space into a fresh, scary, but fun experience. Not to mention, it was only temporary.
Due to its general aesthetic and appeal, the film has gained a popular fan base. That it's one of Disney's front and center brands. It's all over the theme parks during Halloween, all over the theme parks.
I like money.
Whether it be
Is she a Disney adult? I'm getting this feeling that she's a Disney adult.
parks or just Hot Topic or Spencer's a little bit. I'm not sure how Nightmare would have done if released today with some of these considerations.
Dude, if it released today, it would still do hella numbers, but they wouldn't make Nightmare today. Just because we don't make movies like that anymore.
Maybe critics would have nitpicked it or something. And maybe it's best that we don't think about it too hard. But do these points make you think? Because they've always bothered me and it's made me kind of unsure about Nightmare in general as a whole. Do you think this is best explored via future?
She's 2 seconds away from asking how Skeleton's body stayed again. Did I read that? I feel like I read that. I'm like, actually, my brain is falling out of my ears right now. Diesel, she won't eat non-Disney branded food, apparently. Oh yeah, I heard that. I think that she should be put in a straitjacket and then locked in a room. A rubber room with rats.
Sure, canon installments, or is it best left?
I think we should leave Nightmare Before Christmas right where it is and not produce a sequel. And if you will that into existence, I will delete this video from YouTube.
Fan fiction.
Don't touch it.
I don't know the answer to these questions, but I'm asking them anyway. As someone who isn't really too attached to the Nightmare franchise, how do you think it's best if we explain this, if at all? Tell me in the comments.
You are an idiot for asking these questions. These are dumb questions for a dumb person with nothing valid to add. Okay? You have actually just wasted air on planet Earth, and it is actually astounding. Holy shit.
Please.
It's like you gotta meet... a lot of this has been me like critiquing superhero media tonight and talking about critique of superhero media, but you kind of need to meet media where it's at, right? I clearly don't hate superhero media. I have complaints about No Way Home, right? But I'm not like sitting here being like, I don't know why Gwyneth Paltrow's character didn't show up and defend Peter Parker in court. Why didn't this superhero show up to stop things? Blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm not asking those questions. I'm meeting the media where it's at and critiquing it for what's there. Okay? I'm not asking these insane questions that have no bearing on anything. Ugh. Dude, this is killing me, dude. This is killing me. We're gonna touch on the B movie here. I'm doing everything. By the way, this asshole kid who does like D&D videos, but they're just drama videos, get the fuck out, you fucking skinwalker. All right, pick a lane. Not to be that guy. Pick a lane. I keep saying not to be that guy. I need to fucking stop. God. But like, pick a lane. Fuck you.
Hello, I'm Man on the Street, and I'm here to ask people what their favorite DreamWorks movie is. That isn't Shrek.
Is this Ed's World?
Yeah, what's your favorite DreamWorks movie? Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna
How to Train Your Dragon is pretty good.
With Shrek. No, not Shrek. Oh, okay. How about Shrek? No, not Shrek.
Who are you? You're like making this is a straw. This is literally a straw man.
Oh, I see. Shrek 2. No! What? Oh, I do love a good DreamWorks movie.
Also, Shrek 2 is good. It just is a good movie.
Oh, what about that movie Up? No, that's Pixar. Oh, what about that one that's like the story about the toys? Oh, what's it called? Monsters, Inc. No, that's still Pixar. What about Tarzan Goes to Hawaii? It's not even a movie. How to Train Your... Yes? Shrek. I like Shrek. No! Yum, 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 yum. What about Up?
I like to touch people's skin.
Thanks, that wasn't the question.
Also Shrek.
That's it, I quit!
So when you think of DreamWorks, like the studio, what do you think of?
You think of Shrek because you're a millennial. Which also, Shrek is good too. You can like Shrek. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Well, yes,
Transformers
most-
1.
So
Yeah.
if you think of Shrek and its status as a meme today, and this thing called Shrek Fest where they have an awkward convention in a park
That's such a pre-pandemic world.
around it, and that's one of those films that have probably aged the best. But if we don't include Shrek, what's the next best thing? I guess this, which became a meme.
All right, B-movie is not good. I understand it's a meme. It's not good. Okay, it's middling at best. It gets a B. That's not funny.
Because the movie is bad, and B puns.
Here's the graduate. We're very proud of you, son. And a perfect report card. All B's.
B puns. Ah, kill me.
Okay, no, the all bees joke is really good too. And the black and yellow one too is also pretty good.
I don't get the internet sometimes.
No Road to El Dorado would be at the top. Road to El Dorado is really fucking good.
Comparatively, when you
died a few years back.
Yeah. Shrekfest is dead. Who knows? Maybe Shrek 5 will bring it back. The Ants was also bad. Anybody being like Ants was the shit is like
you think of Disney, I bet you know all the Disney princesses or like one song. You gotta know like one, right? Frozen doesn't count.
Madagascar 1 is good, but I feel like they definitely kind of like ran its course by 2. And then all the shit with the penguins is just exhausting.
So here's the question. Have you ever thought of why this is? We know Disney and DreamWorks have different connecting factors and marketing strategies, and even that's sometimes not the case when you think of non-fairy tale films.
I also think like this problem that you're bringing up right now applies to modern Disney as well. You're saying that it doesn't, but like it definitely does, and it has since the Disney Golden Age ended in the 2000s. Like Disney has really struggled to produce things that have iconic staying power in the last like fucking couple of years, man. I mean, Inside Out is kind of like an anomaly, but most of Pixar's animations have bombed.
But it seems to come down to a number of factors. First, a brief history of the birth of DreamWorks.
Not my thing, but Kung Fu Panda was well received. Yeah, that's another one. They have plenty.
Just to have context. Long ago in a distant land, there were like 3 main guys in charge of the
Why the fuck do we need to know the history?
Disney Company. Michael Eisner, who did a pretty decent
Who is evil?
job up until the end there, where he prioritized the parks, and Treasure Planet died because of it. Frank Wells.
I think that you're insane.
And petty internet troll, no, not that one, Jeffrey Katzenberg. I don't know Jeffrey Katzenberg, by the way. I've heard alleged stories, so I don't know. See,
Told newly unemployed staffers to listen to a song from Trolls to cheer themselves up. That's actually insane.
Spielberg likes him, so maybe I might be too hard on him. But comedy, so it's fine. So
Reminder: DreamWorks Pictures also made tons of movies for adults too.
That's true.
Like if your favorite movie is Gladiator, that's a DreamWorks movie.
the story goes, when Frank Wells died in a freak helicopter crash, not only did Eisner have the hard task of
God.
dealing with the sudden death of Frank and how the company should react, but also Katzenberg requesting that he should be promoted in the wake of a technically open position.
The split reportedly came because Michael Eisner, chairman of the Walt Disney Company, refused to promote
The Puss in Boots movie is another modern good one.
Katzenberg to the #2 corporate job, left vacant by the death of President.
Is that movie Bad Guys? I haven't seen it, but it's the one where everybody draws the fox girl in porn. That one, that's another one that I think is DreamWorks, right? Unless that one's a Illumination. That might be Illumination.
President Frank Wells in April. A Disney spokesman told NBR that Katzenberg didn't have the breadth of experience needed to run the company.
Timing is not something that worked out for him, and by pressuring Eisner to say no to the promotion in a tough time led petty asshole Katzenberg to start his own studio. I quote, "Renowned nice guy Steven Spielberg opted to help, so it's Spielberg, Katzenberg, and the third guy who had the money, Geffen."
Spielberg, Katzenberg, Geffenberg.
Why is it when something happens, it is always you three?
So let's go back at Disney real quick. One of the main marketing approaches is the general idea of the fairy tale, not dictating how to produce films and movies, but this having an influence on what's produced. Since a good chunk of the Disney animated canon is in this domain, having a generally indirect theme that is already publicly known and stapled into your brand has probably been one of Disney's smartest decisions. When you look a little more closely, the Disney brand has a lot of diversity, like the racist rabbit movie and the movie about the internet that hopefully won't age badly.
Did that movie come out, guys? Because I think it aged badly. I don't even know what movie she's talking about right now. What Disney movie was that?
But having people not
My point about modern Disney stans.
They have a high expectation about who you are and what you sell, planted into their head since they were out of the womb. Cross-promoting these products with each other is generally pretty easy since a good chunk of them take place around a non-specific historical period of the past and follow a general set of rules and themes. Like magic is real. We can all market that in nice packages with princess-themed parties and toys and everything that we can physically put Elsa's face on, including real people. When we have an outlier in this theme branding, Disney can use their audience's expectations with their brand.
Big Hero 6 was like another one that people don't really remember either, right?
To involve curiosity.
I know there's like a Fortnite skin of Baymax, and I remember what the character is, but that's really about it.
And purposely juxtapositioning those expectations. I mean, sometimes they try to force these ideas when the metaphorical shoe doesn't fit, so having Cruella de Vil, a 20th century character in Once Upon a Time, is kinda weird, but having a whole brand based around the public's expectations of familiarity is both a blessing and a curse sometimes when things underperform. Black Cauldron.
Why, you little...
Why you mentioned it's such an old thing that I didn't underperform? We got plenty of recent examples, actually. I think I'm 5 years ago now, okay, in this video.
It's all just a low-grossing movie.
Dude, these jar-esque edits are the worst, dude. What a terrible, terrible watching experience.
In DreamWorks, we have Shrek, DreamWorks brands, due to being
No, you think they just have Shrek because you're an insane Disney adult.
Independent from each other, between parodies that are not only in style, but in genre, having a much harder time in cross-promoting products with each other, and only can stay relevant in the
Oh, fuck, I totally forgot about Megamind, dude.
public's eye for a set period of time. Even kind of well-liked franchises that cross over with each other seem kind of awkward sometimes. So this results in a dependence of the release schedule and what's new in order to base your marketing campaign on. No wonder you want to reboot Shrek. Speaking of that, a lot of times that's why DreamWorks movies focus on gimmick and who's starring in the movie.
I don't think... Hasn't the Croods had, like, a really good theatrical run of movies? That's not even, like, I'm clearly not the target demographic for that, but it is clearly riding on a lot more than just the gimmick of cavemen.
Versus what the movie's actually about.
You're like giving examples of the worst of DreamWorks to be like, DreamWorks bad, but Disney better.
DreamWorks movies, unlike Disney who have marketed and perfected this to a T, aren't the best at keeping their IPs in the public eye.
Elio, right? Is this fucker named after a pizza?
For a number of reasons. But much of this seems to stem from the lack of marketing, or weird marketing. Do you ever think that Disney is still actively marketing characters from as far back as the 1920s? Snow White, who's still an active participant in the Disney Princess line, is still having new dolls and merchandise created. Think about it. That movie came out like 100 years ago. Isn't that crazy? Or maybe I just think about these things too much.
That's it. That's it. You hit the nail on the head.
What IPs Disney decides to keep in the marketing largely depend on the movie's total gross, but has become flexible based on millennial nostalgia, which is honestly for the better. DreamWorks...
What do you mean is honestly for the better? That's for the worse, you fucking evil corporate slop consumer. You fucking... You're killing film as a medium, you fucking... Stop going to the movies, you stupid, stupid, stupid woman.
As Shrek. Is this getting old yet? Okay, besides Shrek, DreamWorks has had some decently good movies. Road to El Dorado has become a cult favorite. How to Train Your Dragon is generally well-liked. And one of my favorite movies, like ever, The Prince of Egypt, did pretty well for a non-Disney movie, but in reality, it relies on Disney being so good at selling itself and sometimes the unrealistic messages it leaves us comparatively for the real world that Shrek has to do a lot of legwork. Disney is advertising Shrek for Shrek by keeping the aspects of its parody still relevant like 20 years later.
I actually didn't understand what you just said in that sentence, and I'm 100% locked in on listening to you. I did not understand what you just said. Like, you actually mumbled through that so bad that I did not understand a word you just said.
Disney being so good at selling itself and sometimes the unrealistic messages it leaves us comparatively for the real world that Shrek has to do a lot of legwork. Disney is advertising Shrek for Shrek by keeping the aspects of its parody still relevant.
What are you saying?
Disney is advertising Shrek for Shrek by keeping the
Shrek for Shrek.
aspects of its parodies
Shrek for Shrek for keeping aspects of us priorities.
Still relevant like 20 years later.
Still relevant like 20 years
That
later.
are not Shrek. A DreamWorks trailer is either baking on the fact.
Isn't the Jack Frost movie like another cult movie as well? I know there's a lot of folks that love the character designs in that.
That you recognize that guy who did the voice, or describing a pretty lackluster plot like, for lols, what is a B movie? I don't know, man.
Her entire, all she must watch is Disney properties, because her entire like intake of what DreamWorks is B-movie meme, Shrek meme.
And he's mad at the humans because they sell honey, and he takes them to court. Who's this movie made for? And don't get me started on the marketing.
Buzz, 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 buzz. I know what I'll do. I'll pollinate these flowers.
What? What does that mean? What is the movie?
What do you mean? What does that mean? He's a bee. Bees pollinate flowers.
About being sassy? Okay, let's get the history lesson right off the bat. Shrek was made as a big FU to Disney after Katzenberg left the company in an angry cloud of smoke.
You haven't seen the last of me! You'll pay for this!
This is really cringe, right? Because these are just like corporate CEOs, and we're treating them like they're like fucking whimsical little cartoon characters with whimsy, but reality, they're actually ruthless sociopaths that ruin people's lives in order to become incredibly wealthy.
You'll all pay!
I don't know, maybe Jeffrey Katzenberg is like a great guy though. Like, I don't fucking know. Actually, no, he said that thing about trolls. I don't think he is. But I don't know what the fuck, I don't know what they fucking do in real life, right? But
that being said, the more influences that set up the plot ends up being a lot more sincere than that. Even with all the grotesque humor of Shrek and how blunt it is comparatively to the idealistic world of Disney, the actual characters in Shrek are clear, compelling, and are influenced by character arcs of their own. Learning to love yourself is a good takeaway that can be found a lot in Disney movies.
I want to become a guru so girls will like me. Then I will like myself.
You must wear this chastity belt. Once you have learned that self-love is more important than being loved by others, you may remove the belt.
There's a whole plot where Belle learns to love the beast anyway, right? He didn't have to turn into a prince, but that's like a bonus. Can we just call him Adam, by the way? Is that
like,
canon?
that's like a bonus. Well, that's not very good, now is it? I feel like you didn't take away the right message from the movie.
Yet, or do we have to wait like an extra 20 years?
Who the fuck is gonna call him Adam? He's the beast.
DreamWorks movies, with some exceptions, again, rely a whole bunch on what's popular in the time of the film's release. And
yeah, but like, you're saying this like Disney doesn't have flop after flop after flop these days. I mean, I know this video is 5 years old, but even then they were having flop at 4 years old. Even more so.
with Katzenberg's 2-year movie turnaround time, with half the time it usually takes to make one of these bad boys, the rise of cheap reference humor is easy to understand from a—
I hate that you're talking about this cheap reference humor shit as a fucking downside in this video, but I just watched a video where you're talking about Spider-Man and how the fucking reference humor is amazing, okay? So it's just like, it doesn't, like, your thesis doesn't work because I keep looking at your other work that says the contrary.
Production standpoint, but cheapens the movie over time. When Disney does something close to this, it's usually double-coded to work on its own first. Let me give you an example.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
See, on a—
Well, that's also aged bad now because we don't tweet anymore. Tweeting is dead.
First viewing of this clip, there seems to be a reference.
This joke only makes sense if Twitter and the word tweet stay culturally relevant forever.
To our favorite presidential platform, Twitter.com, right? But what if you're like an old grandma and don't know what Twitter is? Here, watch it again.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
Your grandma will argue that the joke is that birds make tweeting sounds, right? You used the bird as a pen. Did you realize?
I don't think that was the intended delivery on the joke. I think you're doing a lot of extra legwork here.
Is that this instance is rare for a Disney film, I should add, but as Moana ages, for instance, that joke will still be funny regardless of how relevant Twitter is to its
now
influence.
It's eating, pronounced sheeting.
So DreamWorks, on the other hand, will be more blunt with their pop culture jokes, in a way where it's the only way to get the material. When the jokes are based on outdated humor that might limit how the audience interprets and relates to these characters, then these characters
Is Boss Baby DreamWorks? I feel like Boss Baby's a meme one, though.
itself or depend on outdated references to be relevant themselves.
Shark Tale has unironically aged really badly, though. Like, this is I can't agree that with anybody's defense on that one.
See where this can be a problem? So, to boil it down, Disney is just better at marketing and packaging their products together.
Dude, my billion-dollar company is better than this other billion-dollar company. Is crazy. Yeah, kids love trolls. How to Train Your Dragon has been like a constant cultural phenomenon. Shrek, I mean, the writing speaks for itself. The franchise has been able to stand the test of time and reinvent itself multiple times. Fucking Megamind is obviously memed to shit, but it does hold up, in my opinion. I think its writing is solid enough. Yeah, every studio is gonna have bombs. Like, it just is what it is. Disney has plenty of bombs, and to say otherwise is just fucking ignoring stuff.
Princess line was like a thing. Say what you want about the idealistic tendencies sometimes, but focusing on both timeless and general quality has worked
Minions is Illumination. That's a separate studio.
out well for them. You know,
They're Skydance. They're Skydance. So I think it's Skydance? Is it Skydance? It's not DreamWorks though. It's a separate studio.
except for Chicken Little. Thanks for helping, Pixar. Even movies that don't tend to fit in the Disney brand, like The Lion King.
Dude, these are all the fucking dinosaurs movie is from when you were a child, KP, okay? Have you watched any of the recent Disney movies? They aren't good, okay?
Have still been able to be sold and marketed due to their creative.
Literally nobody saw the movie Soul. But like the jazz Disney movie that came out. Nobody even knows what that is.
Workarounds. I'm not saying that every movie DreamWorks distributes is dependent on outside factors, but experimenting with legacy marketing is something I feel the company desperately needs in order to build
Legacy
real
marketing?
brand value.
Why aren't they putting ads in the magazines?
Shrek has succeeded so well because its characters stand out among what the film is trying to parody, and that needs to be the focus of movies in general. We shouldn't focus on bad movies because they are funny to watch and tear apart. We already have.
I liked Encanto. I think Encanto stood out because it had Lin-Manuel do the music for it. Luca was like worst of both worlds where they didn't market it, and it also came out during the pandemic. No one saw Wish because it was literal AI slop. Yeah.
Those. Instead, focus on good, timeless stories and morals and marketing that can be built on those bases, not baked into the package. And that's just my takeaway. So if you're new, welcome to the KP channel. Get that engagement up. So comment, like, and
You know what? Coco is another good one.
subscribe.
Hotel
tell your
Transylvania
friends.
is another.
Please,
Yeah.
you need
shit.
help being relevant. And make sure, you subscribe and notify. Thanks
Yeah,
for
Encanto is one of the few good ones in the last few years.
into my TED Talk. And that's all, folks, except it's not time for the end.
It is actually crazy. I didn't realize how bad her Disney disease was, actually. Like, it's actually insanely bad. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say to that, because that was literally just her being like, my billion-dollar corporation is amazing, actually, and really amazing, and super great. And it's like, okay, what? Not Soul Wish. Apparently, Wish had, apparently, from what I remember, Wish was alleged to have used AI, but the people behind it said they didn't. But there was allegations that Wish did. It's all Disney stuff on her channel. Yeah, but it's not even like she, like her opinions on Disney stuff don't even like make any sense, because the Nightmare Before Christmas shit was insane. Let's see. This is 5 years ago. Is exposure bad? Me when I sun my butthole. And then the rest of it is just pony stuff. God. What a stupid person. She does a lot of talking and not really say anything. Like what the fuck did Shrek have to do with the last vid? She doesn't like Shrek because it's not Disney, okay? She's not a Disney fan. She's a Disney hater. It's evil and cringe. Anyway, fucking go to Fauci and tell him that Shrek is bad because KP said so.